Clicking on it. Okay, live on YouTube. Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. Now, if I click on this where it says live on YouTube up here, and view stream on YouTube,
Yeah, sure.
that'll bring up my chat. Woo, woo.
Sure, you can go live on YouTube.
I told you, man. All I got to do is get you on a call and show you how to set it up right.
Sure. I think this is a conspiracy to get
It's a
Blue Rock off of YouTube.
No, no, no. All right, chat's loading up. Let's see who else in here. Let's see if anybody's coming over. 3 watching now. 1 like so far.
What the hell is that? Why does that do that? That's weird.
Haunted Jim is in the house.
That's weird. It's very weird.
I know Cab 7's still over there singing right now. He got Green Bay showed up right at the last minute. I was over there watching them too.
We're live.
Yes, we are live. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's really, once you have it set up, it's very easy to go live from Zoom. It's literally just you click go live, you click on your account.
Yeah. All right. Rub it in. Rub
Click
it
on
in a
your
little
screen.
bit more. Rub it in. That's cool.
11 people in the house. Let's see who's here. Haunted Jim, Fallen Angel, Brandy, Mystic Angel, Christina, Brissy Boy. Really enjoyed the show. Awesome. Thanks. Paranormal Check is in the house. Mittens is in here. We'll get some people in here. Give it a few minutes here.
Ooh, I got some conspiracy stuff for you tonight.
You aren't going to forget about it like last time. Be like, I'm sorry, man. I just kind of froze up and forgot everything that
I'll tell you what, I think last week, honestly, I should have had my tinfoil hat on.
I think they were sending out brainwaves or something. Yeah.
Because literally I felt like I got zapped and I could not even remember my name. Like, never mind the subjects we're trying to talk about.
Do you think it was maybe empathy for Mama Rock getting hit by the ceiling fan or something? You know, kind of
Empathy for Mama Rock.
Yeah, you was like kind of feeling her pain. You know, I mean,
I feel Mama Rock's pain every day.
Oh, that's not right. That's not right at all.
It's not located in my head.
It's
a little bit down low, back of my body.
I'm sure she feels the same pain from you.
Yes, she does.
But no, I'm talking like, okay, so when groups of women get together, their cycles will match up and they'll all do the same thing at the same time, kind of thing, right?
So are our cycles matched up? Because we've been hanging around for a while now.
I don't know. I don't know how that works with men, but I'm just saying, like, you in the same house with Mama Rock, and
so you're telling me I'm gonna get my period at the same time as Mama Rock?
Maybe.
Nice.
Well, I mean, you guys share DNA, so I mean,
nice
possibility.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah. Carol out of the comfort zone is in the chat. We got 11 people in here watching. I know we'll get an influx here when Cab gets done here in a few minutes. I think he's doing one more round. He's got about 4 people up there.
Guys, we're coming to you live, locked up in a cage, way down inside of a dark, scary basement in the middle of West Haven, Connecticut. I don't know how to get out of here, but we're going to do the show.
And I am coming to you live from a hollowed out Cold War satellite, spy satellite, deep in space, orbiting the Earth right now, so they can't get to me.
Can you locate where I'm at and come and save me?
Yeah, I don't think I'm in that part of the world currently. Actually,
a minivan pulled up. They just ripped me into the minivan and they duct taped my face and my arms, and I woke up here in this basement. Don't ask me how I know. I'm in West Haven, Connecticut. It's written literally like 3,000 times on every wall that I'm looking at. It just says West Haven, West Haven, West Haven, West Haven, West Haven, West Haven. I'm going crazy here, guys.
I'd be scared. I would be scared. Uh, Small Town Investigation says Dog Ham. Colleen's Paranormal said hello. She's in the chat. Brandy's out there. Haunted Jim. Miss Becky Taylor.
Becky,
Becky is in the house.
what up, girl?
You know what? I am missing some wrenches out of my chat. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, that's happened to me actually. I noticed the other day some of my
Yeah, I'm putting some wrenches back on some people.
wrenches was stolen.
Right?
Yeah, no, really.
I think the kid gets into my YouTube, takes that little tiny wrench for something and uses it and doesn't put it back.
Yeah.
Kids do that stuff.
My uncle Mark let me borrow some drill bits the other day. When he came to pick it up, it was missing 3 drill bits. Trust me, he was not happy.
Angel Max is out there in the chat. 16 people in the house, guys. Share this out. Let everybody know that we are about to question everything.
It might be, it might be cool if, like the other guy up here with you would share it out too.
Oh, yeah, that could help. I'm going to tweet it out myself too right now.
Share this everywhere.
Tweet.
Dude, I've been trying to land. There's 2 guests that I've been trying to land, and they don't want nothing to do with me.
Nothing to do with that.
Nothing. They're like, kid, get a life. Move on.
Colleen's Paranormal with a $5 super chat.
Guys, do you see my nose? See how big that nose is, right? It's huge.
It says, here for you, Ghost Mafia, and am not crazy person. Hello, just a good fam. Awesome.
Colleen, I don't believe that.
Yeah, I think she's a little on the crazy side, but that's okay because we're all crazy here.
It's all right. Crazy likes crazy.
That's right. We're all a little mad.
I actually, when we jump off into things, I gotta thank Donna Ralph for sending me a really interesting video on a topic. So yeah, really cool.
Small Town, I'll have to get with you after the stream or something and talk you through it. There might be, it might be a defective one too. Green Bay had a little bit of trouble getting his to work at first too, and then all of a sudden worked out fine. So I don't know, but yeah, just definitely get a hold of me maybe after the show tonight or on a call tomorrow sometime, and I'll try to help you out.
Where is everybody?
Purgatory Paranormal, New York, Butterflies, Free Fly. Can we please? Diana and reason she died in Paris. So
Princess Diana?
I think they're talking about Princess Diana. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That's one of those things. It's definitely, I want to say it was definitely a cover up by the crown. I think she was
Cover up. I think it was a straight up
murder.
Yeah.
I think she was taken out. I don't think the queen was liking what was going down with the situation, and they just took her out of the picture. I mean, what more is there to say?
Have you ever heard this one? Michael Jackson was actually taken out with a laser from space.
Michael Jackson was taken out with a laser from space.
Yes. And according to this theory, it was Sony that blasted him with this laser at 2 a.m.
Sony blasted him with the laser at 2 a.m.
Yep.
Now, how powerful was this laser? I mean, was it able to cut holes through the roof of the house and hit him while he's laying in bed to sleep, or what?
I have no idea, but the originator of that theory is a guy by the name of Dick Gregory, who's a comedian from back in the 60s, 70s, and he's actually personal friends with Michael Jackson. And the week that Michael Jackson died, he actually went over there and Michael Jackson gave him a hug and said, Dick, they're trying to kill me. And so what he did is he said, listen, we're going to take off and we're going to go see some friends in San Francisco. And that's what they were telling the people at the house.
Hmm.
And what he actually did is he left right there from the compound and went right to the emergency room. And Michael Jackson was so dehydrated that throughout the whole night he was receiving fluids. Even until the next morning, he was that dehydrated, and the doctors told him that he was on the verge of death. So
Wow.
a week before he died, Michael Jackson told one of his really good friends, "They're trying to kill me." He was super dehydrated, and it kind of makes a lot of sense.
I mean, the kind of stuff that can do that to the human body can be baked into food or even put in soft drinks.
Well, what he said to Dick Gregory was that he had drank some water, and that when he drank the water is when he got sick.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
it,
yeah. I
it,
don't buy into the whole laser thing, but I'm digging the conspiracy kind of thing here.
well,
Being that dehydrated,
I
they're
wouldn't usually go that far to laser beams from outer space taking somebody out. But if you look up this gentleman, Dick Gregory, and you listen to some of the stuff that he has to say, it's pretty knowledgeable. Another thing is he doesn't seem like somebody who does a lot of bullshitting to me. Very smart man. I believe he's passed away since, but I
well.
mean,
Let me ask you something. Okay, and this goes back to Virginia Woolf says, I remember the day that Michael died. My friend told me about it, and I didn't believe him. Then he turned on the news, and it was there. Was very surprised. Now, do you remember the day that Michael Jackson passed away? Which for you was more memorable, Michael Jackson or Kurt Cobain?
um, well, I would say Michael Jackson because Kurt Cobain was so long ago and it was in my childhood.
Yeah, see, for me, Kurt Cobain was like, that was like the equivalent of John Lennon getting shot in my parents' generation, for my generation. That was the big one. That was like, and everybody wanted to know who was in that garage with him because he was up there, he was doing heroin, he blew his head off with a shotgun. I don't think he did it. I think somebody else was there with him and they did it.
Did you
And
see the size of the shotgun that he actually killed himself with?
yeah,
How would he pull the trigger? The only way to pull the trigger is with your toe.
I mean, maybe he had a premonition of the future and seeing what Courtney Love was going to look like in just a
Yeah.
few years. And
Well, he
that
was
would do it for
actually
me.
I have you seen the autopsy photos from that?
I have seen the autopsy. Some of the autopsy photos
Yeah.
were leaked to rotten.com.
There was nothing left but like some chin hair. Like
Mm.
that's the only thing uh you could identify him with was there's just a little bit of scruff on the what was left of his
Mm.
head. Yeah, that's a good word for it. His head. But dude, I'm telling you, people need to look into this Dick Gregory guy. Look up Dick Gregory, Michael Jackson. The video will pop up. You can listen to what he actually says about it. Now, what he gets into is just totally crazy about the Beatles catalog that Michael Jackson was fighting with over Sony, which Dick Gregory says that Michael Jackson had that, and then uh the whole will, the will was totally faked. Three of his child's names were misspelled on the will.
Yeah, how do you misspell your own children's names?
It doesn't
There
make
you go. It
sense.
doesn't make sense.
And then another thing is not only were his children's names misspelled, but there was a clause in the will that anybody that protests this will be kicked out of it. And the mother actually was
Well, that's not uncommon. In fact, I know of family members that have that same clause in their will. They're leaving everything to the two siblings, and if either one of the siblings protests or puts up a fight or an argument, says, "Hey, this person got more than me," or blah blah blah, the other sibling gets everything, and that person gets nothing.
Wow, that's crazy.
If they fight over something as simple as like a hammer from the garage, literally a hammer. Oh, that was Dad's. He said he was going to leave it to me. If they argue over something like that, literally, the first person that says anything gets nothing.
My mom has told me anytime that I'm with my brother after he passed, to make sure
I think I know who Makeup Girl 21 is.
Makeup Girl, one true fetish of mine.
Don't say it out loud.
What the hell?
You're about to read it.
I didn't know what it said. I hadn't read it in my inner monologue first. Like I was just gonna read it. And so yeah, that was a little strange.
That was a little bit out there. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not hating though, you know.
But we're not talking about fetishes or anything like that. We're talking about conspiracies and cover-ups and, you know.
So I guess there was 2 marks on Michael Jackson's arm, 2 dots on his wrist area that were kind of strange. I'm telling you, dude, you got to look it up. You got to watch this video I'm talking about. This guy, he's very smart. And he even gets into like Tupac. He gets into a lot of other stuff. Like when it comes,
that was the other set of photos that was leaked to Rotten.com was Tupac's autopsy pictures.
Those were fake.
And
those
heard
100% fake.
I heard that those were fake.
In fact, I've actually seen the proof that that's actually photoshopped, and that's actually pictures of somebody else with Tupac's head added to it later. Do you know who Tupac was with the night that he died?
He was with Suge.
He was with Suge. Who else was in the car?
In the car?
Yep.
Wasn't it Nas?
No, Quincy Jones's daughter.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of crazy. Oh, all right. So since we've already started, I'm gonna get right into the first subject of the night. See what you think about it.
The first biggie, huh? Now, guys, he has not told me anything about this. This is the first I'm hearing about it. I don't even know what it's about or what it is. It could be lizard people, could be flat Earth, it could be anything. I do not know what he's about to tell me. So lay it on me, Lou.
So, do you know that since we have this show here, hold on, let me pull something up before I start real quick.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I got my facts straight. Here we go, right there. All right, here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. Do you know that since we do a show on conspiracies, there's actually there's I really want to play this, but I can't play it because
copyright.
Yeah. Anybody who talks about conspiracies is labeled by the FBI as a terrorist.
What?
And reason being is anybody who talks about conspiracies, whether it be flat Earth to animal rights activism or any kind of political conspiracies, there's actually this, and this is real. This isn't a theory. These are facts that you're actually put into a category where you're labeled as a domestic terrorist. What? And the reason being is that with doing these kind of conspiracy shows or talking about them, you're inciting violence through like say we're talking about, you know, what is that one there? The one where they're coming, what is it? Agenda 21 or something?
Okay.
The one where they're supposed to come and take over martial law and all that stuff. Am I confusing that?
I don't know. I'm not
All right.
sure.
Just say we talk about that, and then
Okay.
somebody goes off and goes crazy with a, semi-automatic weapon somewhere. We're inciting
A panic.
we're inciting violence, is what they're saying. And see, this is one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and that is not the premise of the show at all. We're wanting people to question everything, to make up their own decision, to be responsible for their own actions. You
And
know,
us doing that puts us into that list, no matter if we like it or not. We are now on the list. You better believe it. Mr. Haunted Balls himself is on that list.
well, let me tell you something, Lou. I'm probably on that list anyways.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and let me tell you why. 9/11. I was the president of Marshall County Rescue Squad. After 9/11, FEMA came around to the fire departments, and the RESA 6, the fire training school and everything, was portraying, and I literally heard this out of the instructor's mouth myself. This is not a conspiracy. This is actual fact. The uh, the instructor says, "Well, FEMA's paying for the classes, and FEMA is considered to be the government checkbook."
Wow.
This was before they were, there was Homeland Security, but FEMA really wasn't that big of Homeland Security. They were the ones paying for trainings and things like that. So they were considered the government checkbook. In a time of state of emergency, things like that, that's where the money would come from, was FEMA. When they go in after floods and go out and buy them out, look, I've been through a flood here. There was an offer made on this property that I'm sitting on by FEMA. I know what the person who owns the property paid for the property originally. It was $65,000. FEMA offered him 22 after the flood.
Wow.
And they were literally like, I can't take that. I still owe $60,000. I won't even pay off the mortgage, and literally, yeah, they will come in, they'll make an offer on the property, pennies on the dollar, literally pennies, and really lowball the shit out of you. But yeah, after 9/11, being with the fire department, I did take advantage of all the classes and all the trainings that FEMA had to offer through the fire departments, including bomb tech assistant, explosives management, and bomb threat management. All these.
I don't think saying all those words right there, like right after one another, is too good for us either. You just said
Well,
bomb like 6
that's just
times.
my credentials. You know what I mean? But after that, I'm sure that my name is on a list already. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't think they have anything to worry about, because I don't have any ill intentions of doing anything or hold any grudges against my government or anything like that. So,
All right. So this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So now we're talking about that. You bring up FEMA. Somebody in the chat, Haunted Jim just said, how about the FEMA camps? Now say we're talking about this, and then somebody goes and attacks a FEMA outpost somewhere. Then that's the reason that you're inciting violence. But what it's doing is it's taking away our right to free speech. And remember, it was like a week or two ago, we were talking about how YouTube they've had to do this because they've been under pressure to do this. They've had to take conspiracy shows with conspiracy in the title or in the tags out of the algorithm on purpose, because they were accused of only promoting conspiracy shows, and they were actually accused of inciting violence through these videos. Look at what was that guy's name who got kicked off of YouTube? Really, Alex Jones. Alex Jones. Goodbye. See you later. You're not talking about what we want you to talk about. Bye-bye. You're no longer part of YouTube.
But it's not just the conspiracy theory channels. Ever since they've changed the algorithms and things around and changed the rules, I know of two channels that were good friends of mine, M's dad and Emma the Norwal. They had wonderful channels. They did giveaways of pop figures all the time. And it wasn't something that you paid in or you sent in money to enter into it. They just give them away on their channel. And they wasn't hurting anybody. And all of a sudden one day, boom, like that, because YouTube considered what they were doing as a contest, and people had to stay in their chats, for longer periods of time to see who won the contest. It fell against the guidelines of the contest that YouTube had put out, and they shut them down. And they haven't come back yet.
I'll tell you why I stopped doing.
But here's the thing that don't make any sense about that. YouTube wants people to stay in people's channels for long periods of time. They want you to watch multiple commercials during the video. They want you to see the ones at the beginning, the ones at the end, the pop-ups all throughout and in between. Isn't that what they want? Isn't that like their agenda, to keep as many people in streams as possible? Why would you take somebody's channel down because you're doing a contest to do just what you want them to do?
I think YouTube gets a lot of flack, and they get pressured from the government. They get pressured from, outside media to do things a certain way. So under that pressure, they're changing things that are just radical and crazy. And it's really kind of hurting the platform as a whole.
Yeah, Mr. Gaines says, I was wondering why I hadn't seen M's dad around anymore. Yeah, that's what happened. When they changed the rules, their channel got taken down. Like, they were one of the first ones taken down.
You would think a warning or a strike or something, just, not just immediate, see you later.
And the thing was, like, Emma the Norwal, this was a kid's channel. She was a little kid. She was always on there with her dad, and that's M's dad. And she would be either on his channel or they'd be on her channel, and they'd be doing the pop figure giveaways. And YouTube, these two wasn't hurting anybody. They wasn't doing anything malicious, Yep. What the hell? Just don't make no sense. I don't know.
Crazy.
You would think.
Yeah. So how do you feel being, labeled? And forget all your outside reasons for being on those lists. How do you feel being labeled as a domestic terrorist for holding this show right here?
A domestic terrorist for holding this show right here.
Yep.
It kind of comes back to the whole thing of like, okay, ICP being tagged as a gang by the FBI. It's just ridiculous.
You know what though? Have you ever been to an ICP show?
Oh yeah, I've been backstage at ICP shows.
They kind of are like a really big gang.
Kind of. But it's not like they're running the streets and killing people or anything like that. They're just they go out, they're throwing 2 liters around of Faygo soda around in the crowd. I mean, come on. How gangsta is that, Seriously.
It's pretty gangsta. Yeah, I just thought that was crazy. Once I seen, that, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like just having a show that, and the person talking about it was even just as upset as I am.
Jungle. Oh, sorry, I had to say it.
All we're doing is trying to entertain people or get people to start thinking about stuff. And it's not even like the real heavy conspiracy theories that'll get you put on that list. Pretty much any of them. So it's pretty drastic. You remember how we were talking about the whole, I don't even want to mention it, but it was a certain kind of food that has pepperonis on it and then gate.
Yep.
Well, just saying, oh, I just broke a plate.
Oh,
I said gate and then I broke a plate.
you said gate and broke the plate. Dang it, man.
That right there, they just hit my plate with a laser beam.
Well, you're lucky that wasn't your head.
Yeah, but all right. So like I was saying, just saying that word together, those two words, a piece of food that you put pepperonis on, usually cheese and some sauce, and then gate after it, can get your channel shut down. Just saying that. So it's a sticky situation. We're losing our rights to free speech.
And that's what it boils down to. It really does. They're taking your rights to free speech, but you have to remember, and this is the thing that they're trying to remind us of, that YouTube's trying to remind us of, is that you have free speech, but you got to remember this is not a paid platform. They're giving this platform to us for free, and then we're streaming, and then when we get monetized, we're entering into a partnership with them.
Yep.
Ergo, we're bound by a contract and bound to their rules. And if you don't like YouTube's rules, you don't have to be here. And that's the message that they're trying to send to us. You know, we're letting you do this stuff on our platform for free. We do not charge you to live stream on our platform. But in doing so, you have to follow our rules. If you don't like it, there's the door. That's what they're telling us.
It's kind of hard to follow rules when they change daily.
That's true too.
And it is. It's kind of hard to follow rules when they're changing without you even knowing what they're changing or what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. What about, you're going to say that talking about conspiracies is inciting violence. Well, what about just talking about religion? Just talking about certain religions, you could say that that's incited lots of violence.
Yeah.
So pretty crazy.
I mean, let's look at the trending topic for the week: El Paso, okay, and Dayton and Chicago. Like literally 4 mass shootings in the same day. The same day.
You know what? It was something that you said that really bothered me about that. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly, and I got this from you. They were in Texas. Okay, they're in Texas. The place where the most people have guns.
Yeah.
They were in a Walmart. How many people do you? It was a shopping center. There was like thousands of people there, right?
It was not only a shopping center. There was a mall on there, and there was the Walmart. And this was a location that he chose that was literally almost 600 miles away from his home. He traveled 600 miles to this specific location. Why? Because it was on the border of Texas and Mexico, and he knew that there would be Mexicans coming across the border to go shopping at the Walmart on that weekend day. There was over 3,000 people in that area when he started shooting.
All right. If this is his reasoning, I want to know, the people that he shot, were they all Mexican?
No, he just started open fire. But he had made it
open fire.
He did make a statement after the fact now that he was trying to kill as many Mexicans as possible. That's what he had said.
It makes no sense if he was shooting everybody. Like, some of these things, they make no sense. They try to make sense out of them, and the sense doesn't fit. It doesn't.
I think his reasoning behind it was that's why he picked that location, because it was so close to the border that he knew there would be a high concentration of Mexicans.
You would think that he would just go to the border and then just start picking off Mexicans.
Yeah, but where he killed 9 people in the first 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, I don't want to give people ideas, but have you ever been to the border? There's lines and lines and lines of cars.
True.
So if that's really his motivation, I mean, there's more places you can go and just get just Mexican people to be together. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't fit. I seen a picture of the guy who was responsible, and they showed actually some pictures of some other guys responsible for other shootings. And if you notice, they all kind of look kind of the same. They kind of have the same look to them. They wear glasses. They're white males of a certain age. I don't know, kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was a little crazy. I seen that. But the one in Dayton, that turned out to be a self-entitled little brat that didn't get into a nightclub when his sister and her boyfriend did. So he went back to his car, got a gun, and started shooting up the place. Ended up killing his sister and her killed the sister, but the boyfriend lived.
Tell lie vision. I love it. Tell lie vision. Makes sense, Brissy boy. Makes a lot of sense. You're not going to tell me that in Texas, closest to the border. Now, I have a family member that lives right down on the border, and they have these groups of people that are civilians that actually guard our borders. I don't think it's above board at all. I think they're kind of like a militia type people, but they're actually just Americans there with guns trying to stop people from coming over the borders.
Well, and here's the thing. And now I've had a few other people say this to me over the last week. Now, I don't know how true it is or not, but we have actually talked about this being a conspiracy in the past on previous shows. The government actually being behind some of the shootings to push through anti-gun agenda laws.
Yeah, false flag events. Events.
Now, there is some red flags to this El Paso event. The
Big
manifesto, the
giant red flag.
Selection of the actual location of the shooting. There's a lot of red flags that kind of makes it seem like, yeah, this could be one of those things. And literally 24 hours later, I turned on the news, and the first thing out of their mouth was, they was blaming Trump for, spreading the hate that caused it. And the second thing out of their mouth was, are you going, they're talking to the governor or senator or something for that area. And they're like, are you going to be making any anti-gun laws to put into effect?
This is what's
one of the first questions.
This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We're going to make, all right, we have a country full of people. Stuff is going to happen no matter what. You can make everything illegal. You can do whatever you want. You could even control the people, like a monarchy with a king and a queen, and you get your, put to death if you do certain things. Things are still going to happen no matter what.
Well, that's the thing. And I see Virginia Woolf says gun control right away.
Yeah, Texas.
Gun control is great, but it only works on the responsible gun owners, the ones that go through the right channels to acquire firearms.
Yeah, it's going to be gun control for them, but I'll tell you what, everybody else who's not on the right side of the law can get a gun.
That's right. The only thing you're doing is making it harder for the responsible gun owners to own and carry firearms when the bad guys are just going to go out there and buy them off the street or
Texas
drugs for them or whatever they got to do.
Texas makes the most sense. Texas makes the most sense where this happened. If our government were to want to impose gun control, Texas would be one of the hardest places to do that.
Right.
The Texans are all for their guns. You're not taking them away. Isn't Texas the place with the most active militias, or am I mistaken? I believe that's true as well, but don't take that as a fact for me. Go up and check it yourself, question it yourself. But if our government had to impose those kind of laws, the people aren't going to be for it. It makes a lot of sense that this happened in Texas the way that it did. And
I'm just saying, question everything. Look at the news. You're going to get a different story on Fox. You're going to get a different story on CNN. You're going to get different stories out of different newspapers. Try to look at all the stories,
but you're
all the evidence, and
just
then,
like you said, if I was there in Walmart and I started hearing gunshots, I'd run over to the gun counter and grab a gun and start
firing back.
Yeah.
Defending my life. Yes.
You're in Texas, the place where the most people carry guns. I do not believe that there wasn't people there that could have.
Actually, there was. One of the guys that got killed outside of the Walmart when he was going in actually had a holster on his leg, but he never had the chance to pull it.
God bless all the families of the people that got hurt or killed there. I don't want to lessen anything about what happened that day. It's just sometimes the truth gets lost in all the fodder and all the television, like Brissy Boy had just said. Pretty crazy. What do you think's next, man?
You know, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna stop. I think there's going to be a lot of anti-gun laws going into place. They're going to try to ban AK-47s and AR-15s from being able to be, purchased, and all that's going to do is take them out of the hands of the responsible gun owners and put them right into the hands of the criminals. Unfortunately, if you want to make it safer, put more guns in the hands of the responsible gun owners.
Yes.
Give them free classes. Instead of paying $100 for your CCW, cut the price in half. Make it so anybody can go out and get their CCW and be a responsible gun owner with the training and know how to use it behind them. And, cut.
It's not about the price, though. I
know it's not, but if you make it a little bit easier for responsible gun owners to get the licensing and to get the guns and things like that, and you have more responsible people with CCWs that have the training and the knowledge behind them to keep others safe in a situation like that.
I seen a guy at the police station, and this guy was with his lawyer, and he's going in and he's trying to sign up for a firearms permit. And so the reason he brought his lawyer with him is because he had to have his criminal record expunged, and he had done so. And so he gets up to the desk. He asks, the officer for this form to fill out, and he's with his lawyer. And the officer asks him if he was ever convicted of a felony. And the guy answers honestly and says, yes, over 30 years ago. And I've gotten it taken off my record. Do you know what that cop said? The cop said, you're not going to get it because no matter how long ago it was or anything, because it was a violent offense, you will not get this gun. You will not get the permit.
Now,
30 years ago, really? And
this is what I know about the NICS program, okay? So this guy did something violent 30 years ago, maybe back in his childhood when he was young and dumb and stupid, and maybe it was a mistake. The problem with that is you get older, you become an adult, you become responsible, you want to clear your record, you pay the money, you get a lawyer, and you have your record expunged. Now you go out to buy a gun. They run you through the NICS program. That's where you fill out the questionnaire for the gun and everything, and they call into an FBI call center and do a background check on you. And when that background comes back, most generally, Cabela's or any place that sells guns has to have a clear and distinct yes on that paperwork to sell you that gun. If they do not get a clear and distinct yes, they cannot sell the gun. That's most store policies.
This guy was told no I mean, our laws are a little bit different here in Massachusetts.
Well, here's the thing with the expungement, it doesn't show what he did on his record, so they can't say no, but they can't say yes either because it shows there was a file, but we can't see what's in it. So then there's.
I remember the exact conversation. The police officer told him because it was violent, you'll never get a gun permit. Not in Massachusetts, at least. And I mean, this guy looked like he had his stuff together. He had a lawyer with him. Come on, the guy, it ain't like he didn't spend money to get to that point. He probably spent a ton of money just trying to, be a gun owner, to be able to go out and hunt, to be able to target shoot, just to be able to do whatever.
Virginia Wolf says, if you have a handgun, you should get training and practice using it. There's a big learning curve with handgun safety and use. It is an elaborate thing to learn about. Now, me personally, I have backed up police officers on felony searches with AR-15 and a 9mm sidearm. And I, to this day, if they have something out in my area, and I know these woods like the back of my hand, they will come to my house and they will ask for my help. They will have me go into the woods as, a guide or tracker, and I will have an AR-15 strapped to my back with a 40-round magazine and a 9mm, 17 rounds right there on my hip. And I have backed up the local sheriff's department and state police on a few different occasions in this area. And so, I mean, but I have the training. I have, I've been in the fire service. I went through the trainings for the handguns and all that stuff. And then, I've got guns all. Anybody that's seen without the OBS knows there's 4 gun racks in this room.
There was actually another conspiracy. We're talking about gun safety, and there's another conspiracy that I was watching something of a documentary on, and it actually made a lot of sense. And there was actually a lot of different testimonies that actually backed this up pretty well, I think, for my own opinion from what I've seen. JFK. I've heard that there was an exploding device in the car. I've heard about there's somebody in the sewer. There's somebody on the grassy knoll. There's multiple shooters. There's this. There's that. I know this.
I've seen I've seen every documentary, every movie. I've actually seen FBI photos of the president's vehicle after the fact, where the blood spatter is in the car. There's no char marks or anything from an exploding device. I can guarantee you that one is false.
So this one made a lot of sense. They showed how it happened. A lot of the people that were there said that they smelled gunpowder. Now, if Lee Harvey Oswald had shot from the building, they wouldn't have smelled gunpowder, correct?
That's true.
All right. So
not that far away. Anyway, but there was a deathbed confession of a mob hitman who had stated that he was one of the guys in the sewer that took a shot at JFK, and it took him 3 days to find his way out of the maze in the sewer underneath the streets of Dallas that week. It took him 3 days to get back out of the sewer system to find his way out.
Well,
how true that is, I don't know, but supposedly there was a deathbed confession of a mob hitman.
Now, this theory, the way it plays out is Oswald is in the building. The cars come around the corner. One shot is fired. It hits the street, and JFK is hit with a ricochet. And then he says, "I'm hit." And directly after that, a shot is fired from the building again, and it goes through JFK's shoulder or back area and then goes into the senator or whatever who was in front of him. But what happened in this theory is one of the CIA agents in the car behind them takes out his AR-15, when he starts hearing the gunshots going off, he unclicks the safety and is jarred inside of the car and accidentally shoots one shot that is the kill shot that took out JFK.
Well, here's the thing, and you can go back and watch that Zapruder film. Nobody had an AR-15 because AR-15s.
No, the guy in the car behind them had an AR-15.
They didn't have AR-15s back then. They had M16s.
Or no, I believe it said AR-15. It might have been M16, but I'm pretty sure it was AR-15.
Yeah, and that would have been hard to shoot him from behind because the one Secret Service agent actually climbs up over the back end of the car, grabbing pieces of the back of his head as his wife is like climbing onto the back of the car. So there's two of them up on the back deck lid of the car while the shooting is going on.
Wouldn't that symbolize that he got shot from the front?
I personally, I think the kill shot came from either the sewer or the grassy knoll myself.
All right. Well, after watching this whole entire show, they actually had one of the medical people say that they were forced into making it look like the bullet from Lee Harvey Oswald's gun was the bullet that killed Kennedy. He had to fudge the x-ray, and he was told by the people that told him to do it, whoever it was, CIA, whatever, who knows, that if he didn't go along with this and if he ever opened his mouth, that would be the end of him. But he's actually come forward, he's testified, he said that he was forced into fudging it, and that like that guy's testimony actually backs up. Now, I wouldn't even think it was an accident. I would think he was shot from the car behind on purpose. But
I have to give you a fair warning now. I have got a hell of a lightning storm all of a sudden. I think they're hitting me with a HARP antenna. So if I lose power and the stream goes down, guys, it may end up being a short stream this week because, they might be trying to shut us down with the HARP antenna. Hard to tell. But, there's some nasty lightning outside.
Brissy Boy is correct. Didn't they lose the brain after the autopsy, never to be found? They actually go into that as well.
They had sectioned off, sliced. Well, it was stolen. It was literally in a tin, like round, like back then they had these like tin lunch bin things, but they put it in that on ice. And the brain was actually stolen, or a portion of it was actually stolen. But when they dissected, after Lee Harvey Oswald was killed by Jack Ruby in the basement of the sheriff's department, which was obviously a setup as well. But after he was killed and they did the autopsy, they actually did a dissection of his brain and sliced it up and put it on slides. And there is dozens upon dozens of slides from Lee Harvey Oswald's brain missing because they was doing a study into, what causes people to do this and, putting it under a microscope and really, tearing it apart and getting into the cell structure of, a killer's brain. And there is slides missing from his brain too. So
Alyssa Parrish says his brains got, hold on, what'd she say? His brain got splattered all over Jackie, didn't it?
some of it, yeah.
Yeah, there was still brain left. He was actually still alive, right, for a little while.
He made it to. He actually lived all the way to the hospital. He died in the hospital.
Yep. But yeah, I mean this documentary was pretty compelling. The stuff they were talking about made a lot of sense. And
David, the producer, is in the chat. What's going on, David?
David, the producer, actually just said JFK was shot from Cleveland.
I'd love to get him up. Oh, that was a nasty one. It was close too. Anyway, I'd love to get David up here on the panel and pick his brain on some of these conspiracy theories. I'm sure that he knows some conspiracy theories.
Now that we're talking about JFK, you want to pick some brains? That's not cool, dude.
Right.
That's not cool, man. That's not even a funny joke.
That's just wrong.
That's just wrong, man.
David, you want a link? Bring you up with us. I don't know how long we're going to be on air, though. I might be without power here shortly, but I'll send you a link.
I'm telling you, man, they're shutting us. Last week, I got zapped with a directed energy weapon, and they zapped my brain, so it didn't work throughout the whole stream. Now they're hitting Ghost Mafia's house with, weather weapons. They're on to us, man. They're on to us.
Yeah, there's something fishy going on here. There he is. Okay. I never know which one to send it to, though. It's always like one or the other. Oh, I was working on the tags. I just dropped the tags.
But you know what? That actually would. I'm not saying the science of it, whatever, trajectories, whatever. But it would make sense that if one of those Secret Service members accidentally fired his gun and accidentally killed the president, I think they would want to shut that up just to not be embarrassed, just to not have like total chaos throughout the whole system. So a cover up at that point actually makes sense, and it makes sense for them all to stick up for each other because there's a certain code between people that serve together.
That's Secret Service. And that is to be expected in that kind of situation. But at this point, you have a patsy, you have a government conspiracy, you have hired mob hitmen, not only for JFK, but for Lee Harvey Oswald as well.
Yeah, that was shifty too, taking them out right away.
Here's the thing, the grassy knoll backs up to a parking lot, and next to the parking lot is an overpass, right, for a train. There was a train there. It was stopped. There was 3 hobos arrested from a train car, and there was actually a picture of these 3 men, and the one guy is a spot-on dead ringer for Santos Tropicani. He's a Florida mob boss, and back then he would have been a hitman. And they didn't find any weapons on them, but they did find them. So obviously somewhere between the grassy knoll and getting across that parking lot, they would have ditched the weapon or had somebody take off with the weapons and make their getaway, climbing onto the train and portraying themselves as hobos. So, but there was a lot of players in this that mysteriously died shortly after. Like one guy was actually put in a drum and taken out to sea and thrown in the ocean, and the drum come unsealed and his body come popping up 2 weeks later. So there was all kinds of like mobsters involved, and after the hit went down, they just took care of all the loose ends. I mean, if you've ever watched Goodfellas, when they did the biggest robbery in history at JFK Airport and all that, then they just went around and killing everybody that was involved. I mean, and that's how the mobs work.
Have you ever heard that Woody Harrelson's father was a hitman?
I've heard rumor of that before. I don't know how true it is.
It's actually true. And he was incarcerated twice for being a hitman. He worked for the cartels and stuff, and it sounds like a pretty badass dude. Like, I was checking that out too. I never knew that.
Bill says the shot from the book depository, if that is what happened, was not difficult. Now, and he was using an Italian Mannlicher rifle, which is the same as a 8mm Mauser, like the 8mm German Mauser. Okay.
Is the Mauser the one that has like the flared out barrel at the end?
No, let me show you. I happen to have the gun right here.
Ooh, I like this.
I have the gun right here. Now,
Nice. You have the gun from the. You have the Mauser or the one from the.
okay,
Assassin.
so now
This is the Mauser.
This is
What's
a
happening,
Mauser.
guys?
This is a Mauser. This is now this one
Ooh.
particularly is a 6.5 by 55 Swedish Mauser. It's the same one that they use to guard the Queen, same gun that they use to guard the Vatican. Now, literally, when you chamber this gun, when you load it, you can put 3 shells in this spring-loaded area, and then get a 4th shell in ready to fire.
Yep.
Okay. When you do that, you have to pull the bolt all the way back. You know, it's up, back, forward, lock for every shot. Every single shot, you have to. And if there's bullets in there, you'll chamber the next bullet because it pushes up on the bullets. But literally, these guns are very, very, very accurate, for one. This was my first deer hunting rifle. And it open sights, I can shoot up to 1,000 yards with this gun.
Could you blow that thing away with that?
Blow what thing away?
The deer.
Oh, I've blown deer in half with this. Literally. But yeah. I mean,
I just like to blow deer.
Well, that's a preference.
Yeah.
but
How you doing, David?
I'm doing good.
that action on that Mauser rifle is to get that many shots off in that short a time. You have to be trained. You have to know that gun. You have to have practice with that gun. You have to know that gun inside and out. That gun has to be extension to you. Now, did Lee Harvey Oswald have that training? Yes, he did. He was a Marine.
Hold on. Did you notice how smart David is?
Yes, he's got his tinfoil hat on.
Got my tinfoil hat on.
He
Nice.
came prepared. He heard about, them zapping me last week.
Yep.
I think that's very, very cautious of you, David.
Wait, hold on. I gotta squish it a little bit just so it'll fit better. There we go. I think I have a chicken up there. If I don't.
Haunted Jim says, if I ever come visit, I'll call ahead. You don't really have to worry about getting shot coming to visit, but you do want to call ahead because there's dogs and, you probably won't make it to the front door without us knowing about it.
Well, and don't you have a sign out front? Don't you have that? I will kill you if you come across my property kind of sign.
Well, no, it actually states that if you're found here after 10 o'clock at night, you'll still be found here the next morning. But
Well, yeah, same thing.
You won't be found at all.
So what are the big conspiracy theories of the night?
we've been talking about the JFK shooting here for the last few minutes, and
Also, David, just you coming up here and speaking actually labels you as a domestic terrorist.
No, what happened? Where? What happened?
You coming up on this show and talking with us, now you are in a secret little book somewhere, marked as a potential domestic terrorist.
but
My sphincter just tightened so hard. You have no idea.
Man, I really should have thought about coming up on this panel.
No, you know what? It's all theory, right? Because everyone has a theory. There are certain areas where people have actual evidence. Then the evidence against, the evidence of individuals against the common stories that are told, right?
Yes.
And news.
right.
And somewhere in the middle, I always say lies the truth.
All right, but what I'm talking about is actually not even a conspiracy theory. What it is the government is actually, this is like public knowledge that the spreading of conspiracy theories is inciting violence. And so actually talking about this stuff is right now kind of being really highly monitored and
It's kind of like if you go into the public library and check out certain books that are flagged on the FBI's watch list.
Right.
Yeah, this is kind of like we're triggering red flags just by talking about it on YouTube.
You know, I think that is such bullshit because everyone should have the ability to have an opinion, whether it be right, wrong, indifferent, as long as it doesn't incite any violence, then you're not causing any harm.
Yeah, we're not telling our viewers to go out there and do anything malicious. We're just saying,
Of course.
take a look at what's happening around you in this world and question everything. Why is it happening? What is the cause of this? What is the
Right.
underlying agenda? You know what I mean?
Yeah. See,
That's the thing. It's the underlying. It's the stuff that they aren't telling you that you have to worry about.
there are so many of these conspiracy theories that I do not believe in. But what I do believe in is that the government does have, secret agendas. They do secret missions. They do secret things. So there's a lot of things you do and should question to make sure that you're protecting yourself as an individual and as a citizen.
I mean, let's go back to the whole. I mean, and I hate to read just because it seems like I'm beating a dead horse when I bring it up, but Area 51, 1947, Roswell, New Mexico.
Sure.
Weather balloon crash?
Yeah. See,
Question mark? You know?
I don't necessarily believe Area 51 has that kind of a history, but there are so many new things that have come out that actually even make me question that.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so let's say that alien spacecraft did crash on this property back in 1947. The government actually said it was a UFO crash. 24 hours later, they changed the statement. They actually changed the statement to
weather
say
balloon.
weather balloon.
Yeah, and they did that. Absolutely. But UFO.
But if the military is going to come here and pick up this wreckage, where are they going to take it to? The closest military facility to that location was Area 51 at that time.
Sure.
Now, if they were going to dissect it and study it, they would have shipped it off to someplace else, which is exactly what they did.
Now,
They shipped it off to Dayton, Ohio, supposedly. Do I think that there's aliens and UFOs and shit at Roswell? No. And I'll tell you why. Because since 1947 till now, they would have dissected every molecule on that craft.
well, when they would have
that there would be nothing substantial to actually see.
well, when they would have started shipping stuff out of there was like late 90s, early 2000s when
No, they literally had trucks loaded with tarps covering objects that they was rolling out of there the same week.
well, yeah,
the
the
UFO crash.
government denied it even existing. So it was really a secret base.
well, but and every government entity is a secret base. And let's just look at it a different way. So let's say it was a Russian aircraft that crashed. They would call that a unidentified flying object because they didn't know what it was. It doesn't mean it came from space. It just means that it might have come from another country or something else. So it could have been that, and they could have carted that to somewhere else to do further investigation on it. Now, we don't know all of that, but the Bob Lazar stuff is what's kind of freaky lately.
Yeah. Listen, that guy said back before anybody knew about it, Element 115, we got this stuff.
And he got that shit right.
Yeah, and he got it right. 15 years later, now they're coming out saying some Russian people synthesized a small amount of this stuff. You're talking about an element on the periodic table that didn't exist. He's telling us about it, and then years later it comes out. Also, one of the biggest things about Bob Lazar, and this is one of the biggest things that confirms what he was saying was true. He said that when he went into this base, he put his hand down on this little machine that measured the bones in his hands, and that's how it identified everybody. Well,
Right.
they actually found that machine and actually showed him pictures of it, and he's like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen that for a long time. But nobody believed him. Nobody
Right.
believed this guy.
No, everyone thought he was full. Well, they did a ton of government, triage to, make him
I mean, yeah,
unbelievable.
they wiped his very existence. Even the colleges that he attended has
Right.
no record.
MIT doesn't have any. Yeah, none of that. It's gone.
The one thing they
Did you see
couldn't
the
wipe,
Joe Rogan interview with him?
yeah, that was the best. All right, I'm going to say this to Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Best interview ever done by a human being on the planet Earth. That and
He
I'm
looks
going to
at,
say,
I love Joe Rogan because he will look at things objectively and not say and have any preconceived notions and say, okay, I don't believe in aliens, so go fuck yourself.
yep.
He doesn't say that at all. He will just let somebody tell their story, analyze it, question it, look at the both sides of that, and then let that story be told.
There was actually a documentary done by one of Bob Lazar's friends.
That was a bad documentary, though. You got to
But-
admit.
But they had Bob Lazar actually told him the flight schedules when he'd be able to see UFOs flying over Roswell.
Yeah,
And if
that
he went
was
to this lookout mountain nearby, they'd be able to see, all this.
That
And
was
they-
a news reporter that actually
Yeah.
they don't really get along anymore, kind of like the way things went. Their history kind of made them sour towards each other. But the one thing they couldn't erase was a newspaper that showed, because Bob Lazar took a Honda and turned it into a rocket car, and he used to drive a rocket car to work. This was in the news. So they were never able to get rid of that news story. That actually put him right there, right next to Area 51. He actually lived there. This is in a newspaper, public document you could go look up. I think that, another thing is the science that he talks about, the gravity drive that makes these ships fly.
Mm-hmm.
He speculates that gravity is actually a wave, which scientists always
I
thought
heard
that. Yeah, scientists always thought that gravity was made by these things called gravitons, theoretical particles that create gravity. And now they actually do believe that gravity is a wave. All the science that this guy has spit out since the beginning has shown to be true. I think that's a real eye opener, and even his attitude now of, you know what, I told everybody what I told you. Leave me alone. Like, I've been through it already. Leave me alone. It makes me think he's telling the truth.
Well, there have been several news outlets you can't even trust anymore. But if you listen to a lot of the pundits that have talked about Bob Lazar, that everyone that's in a government position that exists today will say that the guy's batshit nuts.
Yep.
And anyone that is in a scientific community that is not funded by the government or anyone else say this guy might have something to him. So, I got to go with the, the people that know science.
Yeah.
I'm more scientific based. I got to have some level of proof behind the words.
Yeah, I
Just a
think
guy, telling a story.
my opinion is, if you go back and you watch the tapes, you watch the interviews from early 90s with this guy, the stuff that he talks about, and you watch it in today's world and with today's knowledge.
Yeah, today's lens. Yeah.
And
there
you
was
watch it and you say, this guy knew what he was talking about. He was there.
Right.
There's a quote from it's actually from Jurassic Park, where he's talking about, you stood on the backs of scientists and took the next step and never wondered whether or not you should or not. Well, here's the thing. Back in the 1940s, Hitler, and this is a whole different conspiracy, but it ties in.
I gotta go.
Hitler actually had a team of scientists who were experimenting with like telepathy and things like that, who had supposedly made contact with an alien race through telepathy. And the alien race was telling them how to build intergalactic starships. And they had what they called the bell, the Hexberg bell. And this was actually a UFO that looked like a kind of a giant acorn. And when the U.S. went over there and whooped some ass, they ended up confiscating this what they called the Wunderwaffen, which was wonder weapon, and brought it back. And they actually had it somewhere out west. They were testing the thing. It takes off. They know not where it goes, and it lands in Pennsylvania. They actually had it crash land in Pennsylvania. And the military immediately hunts it down, comes out to the site, gathers it back up, shuts the whole thing down, and covers the whole crash up. So it was literally just like the 1947 one, only it was better covered up because the military was the first ones to get there on the scene.
And Ghost Mafia calls me crazy.
Is this like classified information or unclassified information?
It's actually declassified.
I've actually heard this.
But they had markings on the outside of the bell. It was literally, it looked like, what we would know as like a giant bell, like,
yep,
in the freaking towers in Philadelphia, like the
right.
Liberty Bell kind of thing. Like, but this thing would have been huge. It would have been the size of like this room that I'm sitting in right now. And literally it flew. When they found it in Germany, they had it on they had a structure for a water tower, which was literally concrete columns, reinforced steel with rebar in a round circular thing that they would have the water tower sitting on. And they had this thing chained inside of it. And they was experimenting with the levitation and things like that. They hadn't worked out all the bugs yet. So when the U.S. confiscates this and brings it back, they have no idea how far the technology was able to be pushed with it. They start experimenting it. It takes off like a shot. They don't know where it's going, but all they can do is track it and watch where it lands. And it landed all the way on the other night, across the United States, and ended up landing in Pennsylvania someplace. It's crazy.
Now you have to remember that technology back in 1940, 2 or 4, right around that area, was so archaic as far as flight was concerned.
Oh yeah.
That anything that would go even 50 miles an hour faster than what we could do would be considered amazing, right?
Yep.
When Apollo 11 launched, the computers that it took to launch that flight was literally acres of mainframe computers using the old tape reels and all that stuff. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
The technology that we have today, you could have done it from this cell phone.
Yep. Absolutely.
So you tell me there's in the last 60, 75 years, there's been a technology jump from your basic computers that would have taken, acres of mainframe and tape and everything to come to this with so many sensors in it that it can measure the human heartbeat without having to be plugged into your body at all.
Right.
Literally. I mean, right here, that's your cell phone. It might as well be a tricorder from Star Trek. I mean, you've got that many sensors in it.
Well, that cell phone makes you a cyborg.
Well,
it's connected to you pretty much in every way.
Well, it's your psyche, really.
Yep.
It knows your patterns. It knows where you go, how you go, how fast you go. It's crazy.
What you consume.
Your current location on the map, GPS,
That's right. It knows when I want a pizza, and I'm not shitting you.
Yep.
Every time I want to order from DoorDash, it sends me a text. It goes, "Hey, aren't you hungry?" I'm like, hey, you're right.
Uh,
I'd be getting
I-
those every 5 minutes. I'm always up.
I've had this theory actually for over a year and a half. I talked about it a year and a half ago, and I've seen a lot of other YouTubers picking up on this. I've had this happen where I'm talking about this theory because I've had it happen to me where I mentioned the word Nike. Okay. I'll
Mhm.
say Nike, 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 Nike 10 times, 5 times, whatever. Then I go on YouTube and the next commercial I see on the next video is a Nike commercial. Or you can talk about drugs. You start talking about drugs, and then the next commercial you see is a rehab commercial. It's they're listening, they're
No,
watching.
they definitely are, because that happens to me on Facebook all the time, where I'll, go, let's say I just go to buy something, and I put it in a shopping cart, but I don't buy it. And then I'll get 16 ads in different places and different websites showing me that same manufacturer going, hey, come on back, or hey, take a look at this, or hey, we got a sale.
That's
Yep.
like I'm constantly looking up stuff on Wish, and I'll get notifications out of nowhere that says, "Hey, an item that you were recently looking at is
That's
on
right.
sale on Wish, 50% off."
I went to Juliet's merchandise store just to see if everything was cool, because somebody told us that like one of the graphics was a little weird. So I went out to go look at it. And then the next ad I saw on Facebook was her merchandise store trying to sell me her stuff. I'm like, well, that's just weird.
Yeah.
And we didn't even pay for that kind of service. So I wonder why they serve it up if I didn't. If you're the manufacturer, right? Let's say, okay, so it's Juliet's merch store, and you don't pay people to serve that stuff up based on that. Why would they serve your content up based on what you said or what you heard or what you saw? That's what's weird to me.
Yeah. And just being able to,
Because everything's monetized.
oh yeah. If I use Teespring, okay? And inside those settings on Teespring, a lot of people don't know this. There's a bunch of settings, a bunch of little boxes that you can check off or check them on.
Mhm.
Those little boxes tell you you could be part of their boosted promotions. You can be part of they'll try to sell your stuff over in China or whatever, and if those boxes are checked off, there's a fee of $7 that they actually take out of your profit, which is a big amount of money.
Sure.
Some people don't even know they're losing that money because those are the settings that come with it. As soon as you start, the settings are that way. You have to go inside and change them yourself. Now, as a YouTuber, most people that buy my merchandise come from me. They're not just people that looked at my merchandise on a site and then decided to buy it.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
98% of them came because of me.
They're fans.
Yeah, they're fans.
Yep.
So this boosted advertisement makes no sense for me, especially for $7 per unit. But another way they get around
It's
it is
per unit.
it's per unit.
Holy
per unit sold.
crap.
So another way they get around this is they'll throw up an advertisement right next to my YouTube video without my permission. Okay. And if somebody clicks on that advertisement and doesn't click on the link that I provide, I lose $6.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to go in there and click those off so that doesn't happen.
Well,
If you use
I'll
that.
tell you, you should consider changing over to a Spreadshirt.
Oh, I'm dying for a new merchandise.
This place is killer.
I'm gonna have to get the info from you because I'm dying.
We'll talk offline, because I got to tell you about what they've done for us. They're amazing.
Nice. So now, Dave, you're in the music industry. You know a lot of people.
I was
music.
a long time ago.
Okay, Antonio Perez. I know that I accepted your friend request on there, but I am doing a show, brother, and you keep trying to call me, and I'm in the middle of a live stream. I don't want to be rude, but dude, after.
Well,
Okay.
Antonio got something he want to tell you, man.
Anyway, he could send it in the chat. You know, you don't
He
have
wanted to say it out loud. You can call me Antonio.
Anyway, where was I going? Oh, conspiracies in the music business.
Oh, okay. There's something I could talk about.
Yeah. Let's. I mean, you got kind of the inside track on some of this stuff. You are affiliated with, certain bands and band members, and we know, back in the day,
I want to know about all the weird shit that goes on at those parties.
Where do you want to start? At the goats or?
We can start with the goats.
Conspiracy theories. Well, I had an opportunity. Juliet had a bigger opportunity than I did. Do you know who Doc McGee is?
I do. I believe I do.
Doc McGee is the current manager for Kiss. He was the manager for Skid Row, manager for Motley Crue during their heyday, manager for, just a ton of 80s hair bands.
Okay, I was wrong. I have no idea who that
He made tons of money during that period of time, right? And he managed a lot of the big bands. So we had an opportunity to talk to him about how money is made both back in the day and today in the music industry, because it has changed so much, right? So Doc told us, "Hey, what's going on, Dog Ham?" I see Green Bay there.
We were talking about goats, and then Green Bay Wacky shows up.
I'm just listening. Ghost invited me. I'm not going to turn him down.
I sent him a link. I figured if he wanted to jump up, he could jump up and chime in too.
It's an
I
honor.
want to know.
Always an honor.
I want to know how this money is made. I need some of it.
So money is made in the music industry so much differently than it was in the past, right? So we all know that album sales are non-existent anymore. They just don't exist anymore.
Got a gig out.
Yeah, it's all made on two things today. It's made on touring and merchandise on touring. If you cannot make your money there and make your percentage of what makes it worthwhile to go do it, then you will die on the vine.
I've heard that a certain amount of views on YouTube counts as an album sale. Is that true?
No.
No.
What they can do and what they have done is, as people have seen, even in our community, that if people put a copyright strike on a video, that they can create a monetization, right?
Yeah, my cousin got his own music stolen from him this way.
I've heard a lot of people that have had music that was improperly copyright stricken, and you can fight it, but you can't win it.
He had his original music, completely original music, stolen from him that way, and he still, just like you said, he cannot get it back. Yep. This person who did it owns his music now.
Now, is it a person or an entity? Because I heard CD Baby is ruthless with this.
I'm not sure if it's a person or an entity, but my cousin's really mad.
I will tell you that if you register your music as a musician with CD Baby, which is one of the places that a lot of musicians try to sell their music on, that they are so ruthless in the algorithms of YouTube and have such I don't know what kind of partnership they have with YouTube. I can't even, I have no clue. All I know is that they are murdering the music business on YouTube. It's not good.
Oh, can you hear me? My cousin actually completely got out of the music business because of this. Completely quit. Done.
Wow. That's disheartening.
Well, this is a hard time for musicians because in the old days, you had to buy an album, you had to buy the tape, you had to buy the CD. one hit wonder could set you up for life.
That's right. You could have one song and it goes on the radio, and you used to get paid back in the day like 3 cents as an artist to have your song on the radio at any given radio station at any given time. Now it's 1/1000th of a penny that you get paid to have your song on the radio.
Well, that's common. That's what my YouTube check is every month. So
I actually got a message here from June Gall. She says, out of the documentary, The Big Hack, about a Cambridge company collecting data points on people.
Cambridge. Yeah,
I watched it.
It's awesome.
I watched it, June. I saw the documentary. It's on Netflix right now.
Isn't that a great documentary? It's scary.
But you know what? It's nothing that surprised me. When I watched it, I'm like, I already knew that, you know?
Yeah, it's just another company collecting data, but it's interesting how they demonize data. That was the interesting thing to me.
How would explain?
So Cambridge, this company Cambridge, what's the full name of the company? Cambridge? Do you remember? Green Bay?
All I remember is Cambridge, and they're over in like London or something.
Yeah, well, the CEO was based out of London, and I think that he came from Cambridge University, so they called it like Cambridge Data or something like that.
Something, yeah.
So this is the company that Facebook and everyone else was screaming about during the Russian thing that happened, that said that the Russians were, collecting all this data and doing all this stuff on Facebook. Well, it turns out not true at all. It was this company, Cambridge, that was doing all this data collection, and they were creating, they wanted to do some A/B marketing testing to see if they can get a specific candidate set to get elected. And they didn't have a political agenda, well, at least according to them. And they said, let's pick this candidate. Let's pick Brexit. Let's see if we can make that happen. And let's try this thing over here. And the analytics and the AI that they had created to get all the data points, they picked all these people that were the most vulnerable that would vote in that way, selected and targeted those people. And every one of the things that they targeted, they won. And big.
Real big.
That's insane.
It's an amazing documentary. If you haven't seen it yet, you got to go check it out.
A goo goo gaga? Goo goo gaga?
Wait.
Goo goo gaga?
Pay no attention to the small individual behind the green screen.
That's going to be the next toy review. OG's toy reviews. Yeah, and you know what I think is funny? Everyone just gives all their information away for free all the time. People are like, what's your phone number? What's your maiden name? What's this? What's that? Where'd you go to high school? Never just typing it in. Like, yeah, I have it. Here it is.
Yeah, well, people don't understand the repercussions of giving a data point, right? I mean, they just think, oh, I want to buy this item. I like this brand. I trust them. I'm going to give that information because it's what I think is the right thing to do. And 9 times out of 10, it's a bad idea.
So you talking about the music industry right now in general, or was that just something you were on when I came up here?
Well, no, I had to actually ask him because he's got kind of an into the music industry. If there was any conspiracies in the music world.
Oh,
I was
the worst part of the music industry is there is no conspiracy theory. They're really all assholes that steal your money. There's no conspiracy.
I've got a friend that has been in several bands, and he got out of the music industry, and he kind of talks about that a lot.
There's a lot of shading dealings that go backdoor. I mean, look at Suge Knight. Everybody knows that he was shaking down people for years before he ever went to jail.
I think Ghost Mafia is obsessed with Suge Knight.
Well, some people, look at Prince. He got, right? He's not here anymore, but what did he do? He fought Sony Records for like 18 years for his music library. He won, had it for about a year and a half, and mysteriously he's gone.
And there was some other stuff that was going on with Prince too. He was going to out like some conspiracy stuff.
Oh yeah, there's videos on YouTube where he was talking about chemtrails and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's part of the Michael Jackson conspiracy that Sony was trying to battle Michael for the Beatles catalog. And actually, when Michael passed, that night, some secret deal was done where he actually went back to Sony after calling them devils. He actually publicly called, what's his name? Tommy Mottola?
Tommy Mottola, yeah, was the head of Sony. Yep.
He publicly calls Tommy Mottola the devil and says that Sony is evil and he'll never deal with them again. But the night of his death, a secret deal was done where Sony got to take over the rights to all that music.
That's actually a little bit of a misnomer because you know how that actually happened. And I saw this in court documents too, that his dad, after he passed, the next week sold it to Sony.
All right, but that doesn't sound a little, even though it's his dad. His dad never got.
Was an asshole.
His dad was amazing.
All right, so if anybody had it out for him, well, actually, anyone had it out for him. It was Paul McCartney because Paul McCartney gave him the idea to buy rights to other songs, and then turns out he bought Beatles songs. He's like, "What the hell?" Yeah,
Right,
he was so pissed.
But Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson was a son of a bitch
from the start. Like he was one of those parents. You know how they have like the what do they call them? The show parents, the dance moms and things like. He was a straight up diva dance mom. He would make the boys rehearse,
beat them
12, 15 hours a day, and if they didn't get it right, they got their asses whipped.
Yeah.
That's why Michael Jackson was so messed up. He never got to have a childhood, he said.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then you had Tito, Jermaine, you had LaToya, you had the other sister,
Janet,
and they were all messed up. I think Janet was the only one that like broke away and actually kind of led a semi-normal life.
Yeah, I just read something on her. I think she didn't really get into music much until 1986.
Yeah, she was a late bloomer.
Janet Jackson.
She was on Good Times. You know,
she was an actress first before she went into music.
On Good Times,
yeah.
She was in the movie with Tupac.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's the music industry as far as conspiracy theories. I think the biggest one that I've heard recently is the whole Kurt Cobain murder
with Courtney Love.
Well, they say either murder or suicide, right? And there's so much around that.
Well, and
I watched a documentary on that. Kind of awkward how he held the shotgun and all.
Yeah, for one, he was shot under the chin. That gun is so long he'd have to pull the trigger with his
toe. Yeah, or he's got a really long penis.
That makes more sense.
Well, wasn't the lead singer of Alice in Chains committed suicide the same way, didn't he?
Stacey Lane.
Yeah,
he did.
Same way.
Yeah, but there's the whole thing of popularity and who cares, right? You know, versus.
Well,
and it's a sad thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Stacey Lane. I mean, he has a tremendous amount of fans, and so does the band. But when you look at like Nirvana, and what. Oh God, what's his wife's name again? I apologize.
Courtney Love,
lead singer for Hole.
Yeah,
Hole.
She was so messed up, and is still messed up, by the way. That there were so many people that said she had so much to gain from it, and their relationship was so bad.
Well, that's the thing is, if you're a musician, your music when you die is worth more than it ever was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that vault that Prince has got of his unreleased tracks, their family, it's rumored they were offered like $50 million for it and they turned it down.
I believe it.
I'm like, holy crap, $50 million.
Because it's worth more if they release it bit by bit by bit by
Probably.
bit.
Well, and that's the same thing with Roy Orbison. His three sons actually have just done a mastered track where they went back, found one of the songs that he used to sing to them as a kid that he had wrote, and they performed the song, and it was mastered together where they're singing with their father. And there is literally hundreds of songs that Roy Orbison never even put out.
That's a blast from the past. I love Roy Orbison.
And
If
do you know
you're-
what else his sons did? They now have their dad out on a hologram tour.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Now,
they did that with Prince. They did a hologram kind of
They
thing.
did Tupac. They
they
did
did Tupac at Coachella, which is kind of the first one that was ever done. And it was pretty balls crazy at the time.
They've done Michael Jackson.
Yep. They've done Michael Jackson.
See the technology that Michael Jackson owned when he went on Good Morning America, and he was showing the stuff he was investing his money in.
Right.
And there was actually a magazine that they pull out, and as soon as you touch the magazine, it's like TV. It starts playing.
No way.
Yeah, he had his hands in some crazy technology that isn't even out yet.
Wow.
You know, the best one I seen was, and it wasn't a hologram. They actually did it for one of the music awards things. They had Natalie Cole and Nat King.
And
Cole.
Nat King Cole. I saw that too.
Together.
God, well, that was like it. That had to be a decade ago.
Yeah, that's been a while ago, but that was the most tasteful one that I've seen.
Yeah.
It was
That was like a superimposed. That was almost like green screen kind of technology back in
it
the
was
day.
literally like they had his video playing, and she was there with him
Right.
in front of the screen, and
Yep.
she was just going with the same tempo that he was, and it really turned out really nice. It was,
But that's family, and no one was trying to make money off of it, and it was a cool thing, right?
Right.
But now you have people like Roy Orbison's three sons that are trotting out a light figure
Yeah.
on stage with some weird backup band that never played with Roy. And while it looks amazing, and by the way, you can go out and look at Roy Orbison hologram tour, and there are videos out there, a ton of videos on YouTube on this, that it looks absolutely amazing. It sounds amazing that you go, I feel sad for the music industry.
Well,
I would not want to be a new artist in the music industry nowadays.
now,
Oh my God, no.
Now what we could do with a site called Deep Fakes.
Oh, I saw that. Isn't
Well,
that amazing?
Yeah, what we can do is we can just put Green Bay Wacky's face on anybody's face, and Green Bay Wacky is now president of the United States, or he's in a rap video or whatever. This deep
Boo.
fakes thing.
Did you
It's
see the Tom Cruise one?
Yeah, there was a Mike Tyson one where
Yep.
he's every character in the show Family Matters. That one was funny.
You actually have that technology in your computer right now, Lou.
Yeah.
Deep fakes.
If you have the SLS camera, which you use for ghost hunting, with the digital mapping and the face mapping software and everything that you can put right onto your computer.
Well, deep fakes
do
is
that.
actually done with, you could just do it with pictures.
Right.
You could actually do it better with that SLS software.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, because it maps in 3D.
Yeah, it's all 3D digital mapping and CGI based. You know what I mean? You could literally build on a wireframe from the actual.
I've seen it's used in productions of like computer animated films where it's like live action, where they set up all those little green dots on somebody and their
Right.
motion is the motion of the character.
Mhm.
You can use that for that as well. But yeah, it's completely 3D.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, come on. It's conspiracy question everything. Do you think there's any truth to the possibility Michael's still alive? That he faked his death? What do you think?
Nope.
Yeah, I think they took him out, man.
Dead as a doornail.
Yep,
That is the doornail.
they took him
I
out.
have to ask. It's conspiracy show.
It was all about the money. They took him out. If like like David said, his father did the deal with Sony. His father knew that he hated Sony.
Yep.
Hated them. That would be the last thing he would have ever done.
And that
then-
was the first thing his dad did. How
Yeah.
bad is that?
That's just it. As much as he hated Sony, he probably hated his dad just as much
Just as
for all the
much,
shit
yep.
that he's done to him over the years.
that what was that last documentary? This Is It, the final filming of he was getting ready to do that big tour.
That was
looked like-
amazing.
he sure looked like he was into it, like he was getting ready to go on tour.
Oh yeah.
It really strike me as someone that was gonna.
You
I
would
don't
have
know.
never thought the guy would have died a week later after the last rehearsal.
I mean,
Well-
it is weird.
Like I was saying earlier, his friend Dick Gregory that week took him to the hospital for severe dehydration. So he was actually in the hospital that week that he died. Another thing is, how do you misspell 3 of your children's names on your will?
Did that happen?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
On
3 of
Michael
his-
Jackson's
on
will.
Michael Jackson's will, 3 of his children's names are misspelled.
Well, it's
I could probably explain some of that. Now, and this stems back to the whole Joe Jackson thing. Now, Joe Jackson was such a son of a bitch, and he was so refined on, what they were doing as performers. He didn't care about their schooling. And a lot of times you would, it's crazy to say it, but you're lucky if Michael Jackson could even read the way that
But he's
Joe
got
Jackson
an army
actually
of
pushed.
lawyers, dude. And
yeah,
if
but
it's
how do you misspell Paris?
yes, exactly. Exactly. Come on. Come on.
And
Doesn't make sense.
blanket. He's got a son named Blanket, for God's sake.
But if you walked up to Michael Jackson and said, "Hey, what's 32 times 53?"
Oh, he'd never get it.
He'd never get it. He'd never. He could sit there and just draw lines on paper for an hour, and he still wouldn't get it. You know what I mean? Just
Of course.
that was the whole. Joe Jackson pushing them so hard as kids and teenagers and on through that. I mean, it was like that for them. It
I
really
know
was.
Michael Jackson's answer. His answer is, I have all the money. I don't have to count.
Yeah. I have people that count for me.
Yeah. But that's the thing with the music industry.
It's ignorant. That question is just ignorant.
Bands they're not good businessmen. They get a contract, they don't read it. And they sign it. And I mean, look at what happened to freaking those boy bands, man, where the managers took all the money and
Absolutely.
oh my goodness, wow.
You look at NSYNC, you look at
You want to go way back? Look at
God.
the Partridge Family, David Cassidy. Do you know how he got out of his contract?
no.
They screwed him. They made lunchboxes, all this stuff. He was on tour.
He said when I signed the contract, I wasn't 18.
He was
I couldn't sign it.
17. And they awarded him millions of dollars then. He was getting $400 or $600 a week.
And then I wasn't legally an
Selling
adult,
out
and
arenas.
I wasn't legally eligible to be signing any contracts. It should have been signed for me by my parents, and they didn't sign shit. Give me my money.
Yep,
And his dad, Jack Cassidy, was jealous of him his whole life.
He was.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
he
a
was
whole
bigger
thing.
than him,
Huge.
He outsold the Beatles.
Yep. Well, look at the Monkees. I
He
mean, there's a
outsold the
perfect
Beatles?
example.
I love
For a couple of singles, not overall.
All right.
Yeah. But if you look at the Monkees, they did in the 1960s, they outsold the Beatles.
Oh yeah.
The 60s.
They had an American television show. They came
I
on right
love
after
that show.
Lancelot Link's Secret Chip. I mean,
Take the last train to Clarksville.
Hey, we're the monkeys.
I mean, it might have been different if the Beatles had their own television show. Now they had their own cartoon for Saturday mornings, but that was more of an acid trip for everybody. I think that was like you dropped your acid and you watched the Saturday morning cartoon of the Beatles, and you just tripped out.
all the good old days.
But
Tripping balls watching Beatles cartoons. That's not right.
the Monkees actually had a live action TV show.
And we wonder why this country and world has come to this point.
You know who wrote the most Monkees hits?
Who wrote them?
Yeah,
Neil Diamond, maybe.
Neil Diamond, yeah.
close.
Oh, because okay.
He wrote second most.
Second most. First. Was it one of the Monkees or someone else?
No, someone else.
Someone else. Okay, not Neil Diamond. Chris Christopherson? I don't know.
Well,
Neil Diamond would have been.
that was a long shot.
It was Isaac Hayes.
It was Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes. Okay.
No, it was a team. It was Burt Bacharach. And I can't remember the girl's name. There was a girl that was the co-writer with Burt Bacharach. They wrote like 2 more hits than Neil Diamond did. Because Neil Diamond, I think, did 3 or 4, and that was at the very end. And that's when the Monkees started getting real pissed. When they're like, we want to write our own songs, and like,
You mean like 1987 when they came out with "Pool It"?
No. This is at the end of the TV series.
Oh, at the end of the TV series.
Yeah.
I have a question. When the Monkees got real pissed, did they take their own poo and throw it at the people?
You would like to think so.
I think they drove the
primate.
I think they went out to Malibu and drove the GTO off a cliff somewhere.
I was gonna say, I want the GTO. I want that it was like a doom buggy type GTO car. That thing was awesome.
Chuck Barris, man,
badass.
Chuck Barris designed.
Chuck Barris, he designed their car. He did the Munster Mobile. He did the Batmobile.
Shit, he probably did the lander for the faked moon landing. No, just kidding.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now, in the music industry, there's this big old conspiracy theory about Quincy Jones.
Yes.
What's the conspiracy with Quincy?
Okay, so Quincy is like the godfather of not only music, but movies as well. He had a lot to do with like the Austin Powers movies. He had a lot to do. In fact, if it wasn't for
Motown or something, did he?
No, if it wasn't for Quincy Jones, there never would have been a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That's right.
Quincy Jones will destroy you if he wanted to.
Quincy Jones, you could literally walk into a party with Quincy Jones, and if he finds you interesting, you'd be like, "Tell me something about your life." And 10 minutes later, he'll have a lawyer inside the door, and you'll be signing a contract for a television deal for a sitcom. Literally.
What?
That is exactly how Fresh Prince of Bel-Air came into existence.
Can you get me his address, please?
Now there's this whole theory about him forcing musicians to
Wait. PJ says, who is Isaac Hayes?
Oh my God.
Wow. Okay. So,
well, you know what? I can't blame people for that because that's a very vague name.
Well, he wrote the music for Shaft.
Yeah.
And then
Shaft, baby.
More currently, he was chef on South Park.
Yes. And then denounced it.
Well, he joined the Church of Scientology and then denounced South Park because they made fun of the Church of Scientology and then died shortly thereafter.
Yes, he did.
Really?
Oh, by the way, hey, this is when I get to put on my tinfoil hat.
Yeah, of suspicious means.
You kind of look like Devo.
Yeah.
Do you have acid pills in there that can dissolve into your head? That was a conspiracy with Devo.
No, I'm actually cooking a chicken under here.
You heard that one before, right? Where they supposedly dissolved acid into their head through their whippet hats.
No, but I heard of what's his name, Jimi Hendrix, that used to put acid underneath his headband during concerts. Now I don't know how true that is. That sounds like kind of a little bit of a legend.
He claimed he was being chased by demons. Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, she said, I know. Ghost Mile High asked. Okay, Mile High didn't know who Isaac Hayes was, but is a chef from South Park.
So what's with Quincy Jones?
You
got me on the edge of my seat, Lou.
Well, Tupac, when he died, he was dating Quincy Jones's daughter.
Oh,
I remember that. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Also, there's been a lot of speculation, and I'm going to call it speculation because it's not backed up by any means that I know of, but that Quincy Jones is a homosexual and that he has made or broken certain careers by kind of like the producer's couch kind of mentality. Like you come and do me a couple favors, and now you're a star. There's been a lot of crazy accusations thrown out there. Quincy Jones, I don't agree with any of them. I think you're awesome, and I would have sex with you myself.
Oh, gee. Hey,
$20
is $20, but sounds like Lou would do it for free. So
I would do it for free.
If you can give Lou Rock a contract in a sitcom, he's down for whatever.
Listen, I ain't even asking for that. I'll do it. Just hit me up. Call me. You got my number.
We all know what Rock stands for.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you know what? Actually, it's funny, Lou, you say that, because I heard the total opposite of what you heard as far as his legacy goes.
Yep.
That he was a total hound for girls. And matter of fact, had a very long-standing relationship with a woman prostitute, mind you.
Yep.
And ended up getting sued by her because he did not fulfill the promises that he made to her to make her famous. How about that?
Makes sense.
Okay, so here's a question for you. Now, I don't know if it's a conspiracy or not, but how many dealings, how do I want to word this? How many Robert Johnson type dealings do you think there are in the music industry?
who's that?
Selling your soul?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about?
Oh my God, all the time. Well, let me put it to you this way. You're an 18-year-old kid that is in a rock band. You go to a record company. You would sell your soul to go out on tour, to go make an album, to be famous, to do all of those things. It happens every single day. Absolutely.
Wait a minute. Did I miss this? Are you talking about people making deals with the devil?
I'm talking about, okay, Robert Johnson.
Who is Robert Johnson?
Robert Johnson was a blues
Blues guy.
back in way back.
Oh, you talking? Is he the guy that went to the Crossroads for the first time?
Yes, the Crossroads.
Yeah.
He walked the roads for 13 days, 13 nights. So he came to the Crossroads, sold his soul to the devil.
To the devil.
Yeah, sold his soul to the devil to be able to play like no other.
Right.
Okay? And they actually used that character in
many movies.
Well, many movies, but the most recent one would be "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. So Tommy from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" That's Robert Johnson. That's him. He sold his soul to the devil to be able to play that guitar real good. So that's the story of Robert Johnson. I'm wondering, do you think people actually sell their souls to the devil? Do you think do you think he comes up and makes shady deals like that and things like that?
I said,
I think it's a figurative thing.
Like I said,
more than it is anything else.
like I said a couple minutes ago, Quincy Jones, call me.
Well, I know Jeepers, I saw, what was it, Greg Allman in the interview saying, yeah, I made a deal with the man. He said, I made a deal with the man.
And usually bad deals. A lot of musicians make bad deals where they don't own their masters. They don't.
No, he made a deal with the man, the devil.
No.
Yeah, I saw him.
Oh, jeez.
What he said.
See, I think it's more a figurative thing than it is a literal thing.
I don't know. I think they believe
because the music industry is the devil.
I can tell you, I actually know people whose relatives supposedly did the same thing. It wasn't to play music or anything like that, but supposedly did the same thing.
Yeah.
At the Crossroads and made a deal. And I'll tell you what, I've seen some creepy ass shit because of it. In fact, I was married to the granddaughter of somebody that supposedly did this. So.
Wow.
Yeah, was formerly married to the granddaughter of somebody.
Hey, does it count that I sold my soul? I'm a producer of a podcast.
Juliet, come on.
Yeah, but David, you sold your soul for fortune and fame and got misfortune and shame.
Yes.
I
Welcome to
sold
my
my
world.
soul to YouTube, and look what it got me.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Look at us. We're all fucking our way to the middle. This is PG or rated R or something like that, right?
You can swear without being
Yeah,
adult.
we don't age restrict it, but a little bit of swearing
Okay.
goes a long way.
Yeah. Perfect. Dog cam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
They say the
Tab
Eagles
up here will
did that,
change
and
everything.
so did Fleetwood Mac. Okay, I could see Stevie Nicks doing it. I don't know about the Eagles.
Now, see, Stevie Nicks has a lot of mystery behind her. She liked to go with the whole Wiccan witch thing back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And she played that up hard.
Yeah,
But she has denounced that so many times since. She's just like, it was just what I did as a teen.
I'm
It's
not
like
sure
it-
about the Eagles though. I mean, Hotel California is definitely like a song about life after death and ghosts and things like that.
It's
think.
true.
Wow, did you see Mile High Savage 303? What about human sacrifices in the music industry?
Does that happen?
Oh no, I'm just reading the chat.
Human sacrifices in the
Yeah,
music
they
industry.
say that.
Why didn't they get rid of Lionel Richie? No.
They say that a lot of
Kitchen was
people.
dancing on the ceiling. Oh.
Sorry.
They say a lot of
I
people.
love you, Lionel. I do.
They say that a lot of people in the music industry that receive fame, they sign a contract to sacrifice one of their family members, and that shortly before or after they receive this fame, something tragic happens to one of their family members.
I've never heard that. Wow.
I've heard that.
I've never heard that, and I have a very hard time believing it.
Boy, that would be
That's more of an Illuminati thing.
Okay.
Oh.
That's
what
an
I do
Illuminati.
believe is that a lot of bands get screwed by the way they sign their deals, and they're so angry and pissed about it that they say a lot of rotten things about the record industry. That I get. Totally get.
Country Girl says Ozzy would be one that would do that. Actually, if you ever watched like any of the shows that the Osmonds,
Husbands.
they were Mormons. That's a whole different story. That's a whole different
kind of show. Yeah.
But no, the Osbournes, like if you watch the Osbournes, they're actually a pretty religious family.
Are they really?
Yeah, they are really. They are actually a pretty religious family. They're not into so much of
Alice Cooper, for his showmanship with all the craziness, is supposed to be a born again Christian. Actually, Alice Cooper. Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, you'd look at a stage show like.
And that's the crazy thing. Alice Cooper is actually still out there touring to this day, and he got his start before Ozzy. He was actually touring before Ozzy. How old is Alice Cooper?
Well, I mean, Alice Cooper is almost 70 years old.
Right? He's a big golfer too. He's a big golfer.
Huge golfer.
He's supposed to be this super nice guy, actually, in real life. Like
he's a very smart guy.
I was going to say he's a very intelligent person. Really,
Yes.
really intelligent.
He's a good showman. He knows how to put on that stage show.
Yeah, he's touring with Evanescence this year. It's amazing that he's still out there touring, out on the road as a 70-year-old man.
We're talking the Chuck Norris of the music industry.
Wait a minute, I have to stop. I have to stop this talk for just a minute.
Yes.
Mama Rock's out in the chat.
Yeah, Mama Rock loves conspiracies. She's here every time we do a show.
Sorry, I had to say hi to Mama.
Usually
Hi,
she's
Mama.
lurking. We know she lurks. We know she lurks. And I've told her that I'd send her links and bring her up on the show, but I know that she took a hit the other day and has been down, so I know she's not been feeling well. Hopefully she's healing up pretty good, and we'll see her back up on live streaming real soon. Mama Rock, we love you.
Did you open the show with some dramatic thing? You said Lou Rock was going to do something dramatic this week? Because I came in late. I was just curious.
Well, he had some conspiracy theories that I had never heard of, and he hadn't told me about them yet. So it's like, okay, guys, I'm about to hear this for the first time, just like you. Lou's bringing something new to the table.
No, I was
Give it
supposed to release the footage of the reptilian in the community.
Ah,
The rep.
I still have to blur out the faces to protect the identity of this person. But I do have this evidence, guys. I do have it. It's
Here.
real.
Let me help you. Well, the music industry doesn't have that many conspiracies. As you would, it's so weird. Like the movie industry has tons of conspiracy theories. The most entertainment outlets have tons of conspiracy theories. Music, only a couple I could think of.
Well, you know what I think? A lot of times you hear about these rap stars getting whacked out and stuff, and they all kind of the conspiracy. A lot of people forget some of these rap stars actually really do come from the gangs and the hood, and thus the term gangster rap. There's like rivalries that exist, even though they're in the music industry now,
Well, we all know there was that whole West versus East Coast thing for a while.
Oh yeah, that was the whole Tupac and Biggie diss war thing going on there. That's what prompted that. Then
there was no conspiracy there.
you had Suge Knight battling with Eazy-E, Eric Wright, and there's a conspiracy there that Eric Wright actually contracted the AIDS from a acupuncture session that was done in the headquarters of Suge Knight's freaking studio. He was getting a massage and acupuncture done, and there was supposedly dirty needles.
Oh,
is that what they said?
That's one of the conspiracies behind it. And he ends up dying of AIDS. So I mean, yeah, there is some conspiracies out there, and Suge Knight was not a good guy. I mean,
well, he should have let Ice Cube off the the roof. He should have just let him go. I'm just saying.
Hey, do you think there's anything going on? Just curious. Do you think anything's going on anymore in the music industry, like the Milli Vanilli thing, like where people really can't sing or any? Do you think those?
It happens all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Really, like where they're not singing at all anymore, and
not where they're not completely singing
or
at
auto tune making.
I was going to say auto tune. Yeah, auto tune.
It's awful. It's bad.
And the mumble rap that they have, I can't even
mumble rap.
I used to love NWA and Dre and Tupac and Biggie and Eazy-E and the DOC and Nas and Snoop Dogg. Yeah, that was the shit that I listened to back in high school. I was one of those white kids from kind of urban suburbia that was running around in my car listening to NWA and gangster rap and everything. So that was like my forte back then.
I can't believe some of these big stars are still lip syncing on performances. That blows me away. I'm just like, wow.
You know what? Public Enemy was the first band that actually scared the shit out of me. And you know what? It made me excited to hear their next song. I'm like, I want to know what these guys come up with next. I had to hear it.
It was Power 911 is a joke.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you who was scary, and it was because of behind the scenes things. When Wu-Tang Clan first started to be popular, you could go to New York City or the outstretches of New Jersey, and they literally had thousands and thousands of people that were part of it. It was pretty much a street gang. And you're talking about like, that's like one of the ways that they got their fame is they had such a strong backing of people from the start. Like they were true.
Oh, yeah.
I would say they were real gangsters. Like,
well, they were a street band.
I go back even farther than that, like EPMD and bands like that from the street. Big Daddy Kane. There was a lot of older ones from the early 80s. This is probably even before your time, Lou, that was around. Yeah, like Run DMC back in the day when they first came on the scene, they were nobody to be messing with. You didn't want to walk up to them on the street.
That changed quick.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You mean they were like real life gangsters or
No,
something?
they were really from Queens, New York. They was walking down the streets. They was, literally in that neighborhood. They grew up in those bad neighborhoods and things like that. It wasn't somebody that you wanted to mess with. Now, Sir Mix-a-Lot, remember that one? Okay.
Oh my God.
Now, Sir Mix-a-Lot, I've actually talked to Sir Mix-a-Lot. Did you know that Sir Mix-a-Lot is a ham radio operator? He runs a ham radio channel. And he actually talks on ham radio. I've actually had conversations with Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Not still to this day.
Yes,
Please tell me.
He's an avid ham radio operator.
Oh, boy.
Yes. He is an Aries member, which is...
what is that?
It's kind of like a ham operators club, but it's nationwide and it's affiliated with the military. They're the first ones that get alerted to military situation. If you have a ham operator's license, you can actually be drafted, even though there's no draft in place.
And I never heard that.
Basically, what you would do is you would be running communications for the U.S. military in the event of an invasion in the United States.
Wow.
It's all part of the licensing for your ham radio operators. True story.
Now, what does Brown Dwarf says? I like big butts and I cannot lie. Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, that's
Sir Mix-a-Lot's song.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like big butts and I can't do.
Yeah, Baby Got Back. That's Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yep.
Oh, okay.
That was his big hit.
Yeah, that was kind of his one-hit wonder. But I mean, he had some other songs. Yeah, like Buttermilk Biscuit, Square Dance Rap. My Hoopty, My Posse's on Broadway. He had a bunch of good songs.
Well, you were a DJ, so this is right up your alley. You know,
I was playing all this shit in the clubs.
I was like Tone Loc, man.
Tone Loc.
Thoughts on ICP?
Come on, how can you not? Wow.
Insane Clown Posse. Started out in the Detroit area.
ICP.
Started out around the same time as Vanilla Ice, or not Vanilla Ice, but Eminem. And now they've gotten a following that
didn't Kid Rock start about the same time too?
Yeah, but Kid Rock and Kid Rock and Snoop Dogg has actually been on ICP tracks.
Really?
Yeah. Now there was a big diss war between ICP and Eminem back in the day.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there's a few songs back and forth between the two, but ICP has a I guess clique or a following. They call themselves the Juggalos, which you could tell them by the Hatchet Man tattoos on their arms or stickers on their cars. They have what they call the Gathering of the Juggalos. It's usually every year. It's like a music festival.
Isn't it Michigan?
It's in different states from time to time. It's
okay.
Widespread now. But I actually have a friend who would roadie for Mike Clark, who was one of their producers. And when they come to like Pittsburgh or around the area, I get put on a list as a promoter. And I can go to the shows for free and get backstage and hang with ICP and Twisted and all that. So I actually have been backstage with ICP, just Chaggy Dope and Violent J, and
with all the grape soda,
all the Faygo Cola and Rock and Rye that you can.
Wait! They like Faygo? I drink Faygo.
Yes, that is a Juggalo drink. That is Juggalo wine right there.
Really? I love Faygo.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I feel special, man. Maybe I should be like Insane Wacky Posse. Like, I could put makeup on, look like David the producer.
So is it illegal to run ham radio without a license? Technically, yes.
Technically, yes, it is.
Yes, technically, yes. But Federal Communications Commission does not really go out looking for people anymore. They haven't really done that stuff since the 70s. So, and like back then you could have a CB radio and be running 1,000-watt linear. And back then you would actually come across people's TVs. Now everything's digital. So you don't really bleed over into channels and things like that. And CB has died out. So,
and plus the FCC has blocked out different frequencies for the police. And that was the big problem.
Yes. Yeah, I've been around a while and I've done a lot of different things. I was an avid CBer and I'm still a ham radio operator and I still get into all that electronic stuff.
Oh, I knew it.
Brown Dwarf says no one mentioned Cypress Hill.
I love Cypress Hill, but Ghost Mafia is a dog ham operator.
Dog ham operator.
Yeah, there you go. You know,
Oh,
I don't know much about Cypress Hill. I feel like
Cypress Hill.
I missed out on that. That was just a little bit beyond my age group.
I
That
feel
was
like I
the
have to do it. I feel like I have to do it for your show, for the love of your show, Ghost.
What's
Are
that?
you going to jump around, jump up and get down?
No.
Oh, okay.
Question everything on the Ghost Mafia channel, sponsored by Dog Ham. That's right, pigs, they love us. Dogs, they hate us. Get our new extra value 25% more Dog Ham. That's right, remember, Dog Ham, the new other backyard white meat.
That's where Cypress Hill started out with was House of Pain. He started out with those guys, and they were white rappers.
House of Pain was?
Be Real is not a white rapper.
Well, okay.
Cypress Hill is not white rappers.
No, he's Mexican.
Think Blondie really started rap with Rapture? Or do you think it was just a title?
Well, Blondie didn't start. She was actually she was at a party and she met Freddie Mac and said, "Hey, I'm going to do a song for you." And that's how Rapture came about. Freddie Mac was he was from Brooklyn. He was friends with Run DMC and a lot of the rappers back in the day from that area, which was like Big Daddy Kane, Father Time, and a few others.
She had the very first hit that included rap.
That's what I mean.
Right.
That's true.
They credit her for doing that in rap.
All right, guys. We need to take a moment for our sponsors.
Yes.
Hold on. Oh, hold on. Got to put the tape in. Hold on. Let me adjust.
I'm putting on a tinfoil hat.
Let me put the tape in. All right.
Reynolds rap.
Out of respect, I'll
Dog ham. Pigs really enjoy dog ham because they don't have to die. No pigs are killed in the making of dog ham. Enjoy dog ham, the chicken of the backyard. Maybe your neighbor's backyard. Who knows?
All right. Our sponsors are pleased.
It was a moment of silence there.
Vanilla Ice is a huge ICP supporter. He usually performs at the Gathering of the Juggalos for the psychotic shows.
Vanilla Ice. Man, I saw that dude in an interview. He said,
Rob Van Winkle actually. That's a whole story in itself when you start talking about Rob Van Winkle. I mean,
That's Vanilla Ice. Yeah, that
Vanilla
guy lives in
Ice,
Florida, and he's cleaning pools now.
Yeah, well, he's got a show where he refurbishes mansion and builds these pools for mansions. Like,
well, that was like 3 years ago. Now he's cleaning pools.
Really?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he's cleaning pools.
The crazy part of that is that
money?
When he wrote Ice Ice Baby, he was only 12 years old. That was a song that he never thought would go big. And there's like, well, what's some of these other songs? I like this one. What if we laid down a track with, Under Pressure and did it like this? And it took off. That was the one that blew up.
And guess what? You know how much money he's made off that song? No money. Queen sued his ass for that song.
Not only that, that was one of the first people Suge Knight hit up. Said, if you want in this rap game, you're going to pay me $4 million or I'm going to kill you. And he's actually stated this in interviews. He said, I just gave him the $4 million.
Yeah.
I just gave him the $4 million because I didn't want to deal with it. And I walked away and said, okay.
Wait a minute. Who threatened to kill him?
Suge Knight.
Who's Suge Knight?
Suge Knight is the owner of Death Row Records.
Oh, Death Row Records. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's still alive, but isn't he still in prison?
No, he's out of prison now.
No.
Is he out already?
He's out of prison now.
Was he did he not like it because he's a white rapper or something? Or
well, yeah. He was insulted that it was almost like Vanilla Ice was making fun of rap and dragging it down for rap industry and blah blah blah. And so he went and shook him down for $4 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Paid him in cash.
Oh wow.
I'll tell you what, I would have done it too.
Yeah. To Suge Knight. Hell yeah. That guy's one scary MFer.
I mean, think about everything that Rob Winkle got. He's gotten a couple of bit roles in some Adam Sandler movies. He wrote a couple of tracks for some Ninja Turtle movies. He actually had a movie of his own, but it flopped so freaking bad.
I remember that in the 80s.
Terrible.
So you're telling me right now Vanilla Ice is out of money and cleaning pools?
Yep. He's in Sarasota, Florida, and he cleans pools for a living.
Did you hear who's coming out with a new album?
No.
Old school rapper MC Hammer is coming out with a new rap album. He's went back to the label, and he's
I thought he was a minister now.
He was a minister. Well, remember when he hit it big, he spent all that money on a mansion. He literally went bankrupt building his own palace.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then who bought the place?
Mike Tyson.
Well, Mike Tyson bought it, and then Mike Tyson had sold it to 50 Cent.
Yeah, and you know what?
I work. Cent's broke now.
And 50 Cent is broke now, and the mansion is for sale.
I worked on that house.
What?
Really?
I did the hardwood floors in that house.
Wow.
Yep. Well, of course he shut it down so everybody could work on it. Nobody was there, but yeah, that was a really big job.
He literally had gold-plated faucets in the bathrooms.
Really?
Like that in this house. That's how much money he dumped into that house.
Oh, wow.
And when Mike Tyson bought it, he had filed bankruptcy on the property. It went into foreclosure, and Mike Tyson bought it for like $24 million.
How old is MC Hammer now?
About 60?
Yeah, he's got to be getting up there.
Yeah.
He's not that old then. All right. He's still got it.
I don't know, man. You've seen some of the moves that he was pulling off back in the day. I don't know if he can do those same moves in the hammer pants nowadays.
Hammer pants.
The hammer pants.
I mean, I understand he's too legit to quit, but damn.
I don't know. Vanilla Ice kind of had the hammer pants going on, you know.
Yeah, that was the same time frame. That was late 80s, early 90s, like 89, 90, 91.
I remember when Eddie Van Halen was wearing the Zubas. I had to go get Zubas, man. It's like,
didn't everyone have Zubas back then?
Oh man,
or Cavaricis?
Oh, I miss my Zubas. You can still buy them, but I gotta get some, man. I had the British ones, you know, the red, white, and blue kind.
I'm waiting for Chess King to come back around.
See, I was long before that era. I was rocking the British Knights back in the day. Remember those?
Oh, you got a super chat from Recycle Dude.
Oh yeah,
Recycle
Dude with the 199 super chat. Much love, Ghost and Panel. Thank you.
I think you would have caught it, but I just happened to notice it. Hello, Recycle Dude.
Yeah, you remember British Knights?
I don't.
They were the high top sneakers, had the little diamond BKs, you know.
I'm so not. No, I don't even know what that is.
That was before the Reebok pumps.
Yeah,
came.
British Knights. I loved British. Oh yeah, I had me some BK Knights.
Yep, I was rocking the BKs. They were called parachute pants, but they weren't hammer pants. They were literally like nylon, like parachute material, and they had zippers all the way down the legs.
Do you remember the pants that were kind of like parachute pants, but they had like mostly tiger stripe patterns on them, and people used to roll them up at the bottoms?
Yep. Pegging your jeans and pegging your pants. Yep.
Yeah.
What is that?
That was where you would take like your blue jeans you was wearing, and you'd fold a pleat in them and fold it as tight to your ankle as possible, and then roll them just on the seam, like 3 rolls, and they would hold. It was like making skinny jeans out of regular jeans kind of thing. It was like,
all right. Yeah, that was not my, I didn't even know about that.
Well, you guys were lucky enough not to wear your clothes backwards during the crisscross.
Right. Yeah. And
one of them died recently, actually, a few years ago. One of the crisscross dudes.
Did he really? He died?
Yeah, that was a while ago, actually.
Yeah, a few years ago, one of them died. You know, the crisscross will make you jump. You know,
I don't even know that.
Yeah,
they were big for me.
yeah, French rolls. Okay, they're the country girl said French rolls, which was the other word for pegging your jeans. It was French roll. Like literally when NWA came out, Dre was pegging his pants.
I never even heard of that term.
Yep.
Yeah, I never heard of pegging, but I did it.
I'm not going there, man. I'm not going there.
Well,
So Dave didn't make the power go off? No. We kept the power on. Saw them super chats. Thank you guys.
Son of a
Kept
bitch.
the power on.
Did you end up doing your stream earlier, David?
We did.
Ah, fuck. I was out getting some stuff, and then I went over and sang my heart
Was
out.
that the one with Mark Cuban?
No,
No.
that's not coming up until next month.
Okay.
And
Not
that's
till
still
September.
on, right?
Yeah, I
That's-
definitely don't want to miss that. Guys, if you haven't checked out Juliet Miranda's channel, get over there, hit that bar, ding that bell, drop a like on one of her videos, and leave her a comment so she can get back to you. She's going to be having Mark Cuban on her show coming up. When is that, Dave?
That's Mark spelt with a Batman symbol, by the way.
yes.
Now that one, is that going to be on YouTube or on the Unwritable Rant?
Both, actually. We're going to take the audio from it, but we're actually doing it over video.
You're going to be able. We're going to see you talking to
It's going to be live. Yeah, she's going to do it live over YouTube.
David, can you relay a
Wait, it's
message?
going to be a live stream on YouTube?
It's going to be a live stream on YouTube, and she's also doing Robert. Who's the guy on the Food Network? Robert.
Who cares about him? I want you to
know.
ask.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
want you to ask Mark Cuban a couple questions for me. I'll talk about it.
Like, how much money can he give you?
Yes. this
Lou
is
wants
the
to know.
question.
Lou wants to know if Mark Cuban can initiate him into the Illuminati.
That's question number 2.
Is
It is. I will say he's the official first billionaire we've had on the show.
now, did he give you like a time limit? Like you've only got me for 45 minutes or something? I mean, is it laid
No,
out?
We weren't actually. You know what? The funniest thing is, you would think that I had to work through like 3 or 4 people to get to Mark Cuban. Me and him are emailing each other back and forth like the past week. Just me and Mark.
Yeah, I hear that about Mark Cuban. He's a pretty laid back guy.
Totally
He's
great
like
guy.
a regular person like everybody else. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Just a super nice guy.
like
Robert Herjavec when they showed that he was a regular guy on Shark Tank. Only saw it once. You know, he's always saying, "I'm the son of an immigrant. I'm just a regular guy."
Yeah.
So one episode of Shark Tank, they said, "Well, we're gonna go over to Robert's house. He's just a regular guy." Fucking opens up the doors. He's got like Greek pillars and shit.
Yeah, I
I'm like, I'm like, dude, you're not a regular guy, man. I was expecting a Rambler house.
Jojo Walker's in the house, guys.
Jojo, how you doing, Jojo? I haven't talked to Jojo in a while. I saw a bunch of her things on Facebook that have been cracking me up. She's got to stop doing that.
That's funny. I sent you a hangout message, Ghost.
Oh, Dave, the producer, with a $10 super chat.
What? You broke the protocol?
I totally broke
More
protocol.
tinfoil.
Uh,
That is awesome.
Jojo, hello, Jojo.
It says 3 genres of music where murder is common: hip hop, Jamaican dance hall, and Mexican narco.
What is Mexican narco? I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure.
Narcos, the drug trade down in.
Yeah, but they're talking about a music genre, though.
Oh, no idea.
I never heard of it.
Dave, the producer, might buy 2, maybe. What? It's hams. Oh. Now I'm getting messages here. Hold on. What's going on here?
I found the actual document that was released by the FBI. It's an intelligence bulletin from the FBI Phoenix Field Office, 30 of May 2019.
Hold on a second. I need this. Go ahead.
All right. Anti-government, identity-based, and fringe political conspiracy theories very likely motivate some domestic extremists to commit criminal, sometimes violent activity.
sometimes.
And this is law enforcement sensitive, and it goes into depth on how you're pretty much tagged as a potential for domestic terrorism, talking about any conspiracy.
Well,
Doesn't that infringe on your rights as a American? I mean, your right to freedom of speech.
Oh, you think we have rights?
We have
Oh,
freedom of speech.
F7 with a $10 super chat.
Kev 7 year. I love him. God, Jesus.
Says, who is that North Korean looking guy on the panel with the sunglasses and guitar behind him with the beanie, purple looking green screen?
That's Ghost Mafia.
But I just gotta ask one more. You know, this Mark Cuban thing, is it gonna be like a Zoom interview?
Yeah, just a one-on-one. Yeah.
So it'll be Zoom, and it'll be you, and he'll be in his office somewhere.
Well, it'll be actually we're doing it over Skype. Yes, Skype video. Yeah.
all right. Remember to
I'm just so
I
excited
just
about
tweeted
that.
42 questions from Lou Rock to Mark Cuban, so hopefully you can pass those along.
You know what? I got an idea for you, Dave.
Yeah.
You get them on the show, and then you're getting midway through the interview, and the questions start to fall off a little bit. But you'd just be like, well, why don't we do our own little Shark Tank type here? And you bring Green Bay Wacky in with the Boulder Buddies and hit him with the Boulder Buddies. Smash him with the Boulder Buddies. Smack him right in the face with the Boulder Buddies.
I think that's awesome.
Will people in the chat be able to, ask him questions? Will it be that?
Yeah, it's gonna be live. Yeah, totally.
I know it's live, but will you actually?
She's going to interact and make sure that that's
Go keep the
not
bunker
everything.
fun. Please donate. You guys
know how that goes.
So if you get lucky enough to get picked for a question, you might be able to have Mark Cuban talk to you through the chat. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
David is actually accepting payments for the questions that he'll be selecting.
Yeah, my PayPal is at who the hell gives a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta admit, I've always been fascinated with him. I just have for some reason.
I'm always fascinated with people that are billionaires.
Yeah.
Well, what fascinates me is when you look at him, like, is that guy like that off camera, or is he a dick? He looks nice. Like, he seems like
I
off.
want you to ask him if he's interested in cheap male prostitutes.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, look at the time. I got a roll here. Whew. Wow.
Dave, the producer, has a meeting in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
I've heard nothing but amazing things. And I will tell you that the very first email that I sent to his production company to ask him if he would be on the show and, did the pitch, that the next email that I got back was directly from him, not from his people, not from a middleman, not from a PR person, not from a lawyer. I was shocked.
You said he answers his own emails.
Yeah, I got to take this tinfoil hat off.
I mean, assuming that you make it to his email box.
Yeah. I mean, if you figure out what his email is, he will email you back. Yes.
He's probably got 30 of them, like all of us. I use this one for this, and this one's for Robert, this one's for Damon, and this,
I got one email, and it's freaking 20 some odd years. Yeah, it's an AOL email. I'm still using it.
I've got an AOL
I'll tell you a
email.
little tip. If you sign up to IMDb Pro, you know what IMDb is, right?
I used to be part of it, actually.
Okay. So there's imdb.com that you could find out all about great movies and about who directs them and who stars in them. You go to IMDb Pro, and if you look up a celebrity, it'll tell you their PR person, their legal representation, their talent agent, their manager, all the people that surround them, you will find.
Nice.
That's how I got to Mark Cuban.
And when you asked him to come on your show, was it we just want to interview you because you're a cool guy? I mean, what's your agenda?
No, I have a whole pitch that I put together. I spent.
So Lou, we have to look up IMB Pro and see if we can find Bob Lazar's email and get him on the show.
Bob Lazar.
Hold on, let me see if I can find him on there.
Bob
I'll look
Lazar
right
would
now.
tell you, go screw yourself.
You think so?
I bet you would.
Yeah, no, actually, Bob Lazar has publicly said, listen, I've put in the information out there that I put out there, but please do not try to contact me. He said that in the Joe Rogan interview. Also, I've seen him say it in other interviews because he's always being accosted by people, and he's just one of those people that just wants to be left alone now.
Mike Con with the $2 super chat. Cab 7.
How do you spell it's Lazar?
That's laser.
Laz. How do you spell? No, it is. No, you're right.
I'm messing.
What is it? How do you spell
You're
Lazar?
right. I think it might have two Z's if I'm. Let me see. I'll tell you in 1 second.
Let me see if it's two Z's.
Cab 7 with a $5 super chat. There's poor people in Kenya that could
It's
use that dinner
LAZAR.
Yeah, it is one Z.
to make a hungry man dinner to serve at least 12 people.
Right under IMDb Pro, Bob Lazar, no contacts.
Mm.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be bothered.
I can tell.
Or the government don't want him talking to anybody.
Yep.
Think about it. They done
Well,
erased
why
his-
do you think he's not dead? Why do you think he's not dead?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I look at a guy like that and I say to myself, why isn't a guy like that? Why would the government let him?
Because he was a whistleblower and now he's a public figure.
Well,
And
he
now
actually
he's out in the
protected himself
spotlight.
too.
Yeah, but if they
You know what I mean?
snuff him out, no one's gonna.
Well, he actually got fired at. He was driving down the street at one point, and a gunshot went off. It scared the crap out of him. He pulled over. He was actually fired at before, whether it be just a random act of violence or whatever. But I think what really protected Bob Lazar is I think he backed himself up with some information that he's withheld. And if he dies,
With a $6 super chat. What cab?
he's actually said that if something happens to him, this will be released. So I think he's got a little bit of leverage.
All right, so I have a little bit more information for you that you can use to get in contact with him. So he has under IMDb Pro one website under his name, and it's unitednuclear.com, which is his company that is a scientific equipment and supplies company.
Yes.
If you do the contact us or about us, it actually has his email there in Langsburg, Michigan, and it's got a phone number and
Wait,
a
Bob lives out in Langsburg?
yes.
Yes.
That's right in my old backyard, man.
He actually has.
In fact, I probably know which house it is.
I have
that
three
company.
different emails under Gmail for him now.
What's their address?
So your theory, though, is you think that he's still alive just because he's a public figure?
No,
I think
he's
he
still
had an
alive.
insurance policy in place that
Yes.
if anything ever happened to him, it would go.
So
set
what would that
out
keep
to-
them from? Who cares
Oh.
about an insurance policy? It just gets paid.
No.
No.
What he means by an
You
insurance
mean like
policy,
pictures or
he has information
videotapes?
that has been given to
Oh,
a couple different
okay.
people, and in case of his death, that information will be released.
I got you.
like
Okay.
secret footage from inside the base or something like that.
Well,
I got you.
apparently, he actually claims that he was able to take some of that element 115 and get it off of the base.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that actually.
Yeah, because he was part of what was called the Area 54, which was by Area 51. And
Right.
he just happened to be at 51.
Yeah, S4. Yep.
Is it S4? I thought it was
S4.
54.
No,
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
S4. Yep.
Okay. But that was by Area 54 or 51. I'm sorry. Area 51, right?
Yep.
Close?
Yes, you're
Ish.
right.
So he was there for some specific, not a mission, but more a project that he was part of.
Reverse
Reverse engineering.
Right. And he happened to see through a doorway, if I recall right, on the Joe Rogan show, that he saw an actual alien.
That's what he claims. Yeah.
He said they were short people. He said that
He said he thought that they were like, how did he put it? That they were doing some scientific experiments on like little people.
yes.
Yeah.
He said the guards pushed him along, like, stop looking, keep moving, you know?
Right.
That's what he claimed.
So you sound like you know more about it than I do. You tell the story then.
Well, he just said that he walked by a certain set of doors and just glimpsed, and he seen some smaller figures, child-sized figures that he believed that could possibly be aliens. And that's actually in the Joe Rogan interview. He goes into
Right.
more detail in that interview if anybody's interested
He
in
kind of claimed he was separated to, like, all these different departments were
it
not.
was all compartmentalized.
Yeah, like his department was doing this one thing, and he didn't know what the other one was doing. The other one didn't know what he was doing.
Well, that's standard operating procedure in a military. facility.
Isn't that any government entity though that does that?
yeah,
The thing is if you're really the scientific way of doing things, that's counterproductive.
Well, if it's not interrelated with other items that are kind of surrounding you, I could see that. So if the whole could make a bigger story from a science perspective, I get that. But
Well,
it
and that's just it. Like,
might be individual. Then
if they have a spaceship, okay, they're going to reverse engineer this spaceship. Now, first off, you got to know how the engine works. So his department would be over here working on the engine. Next thing is going to be navigation of space.
right.
So they're going to take that apart and send it to a different department to work on, along with controls and things like that. Everything's going to be broken down into
And
separate.
that way everyone has kind of that culpability, right? So they don't know the whole schema of everything.
tell me this. You guys know more about it even than I do, Ghost and Lou. Has he brought forth any real evidence other than his
Tons.
Yeah, lots.
So much that it's unbelievable.
what
Yeah.
actual type of evidence has he put forward?
Tell them about the element.
All
Well,
right.
I know, but did that ever really get out where anyone
Yes.
told
Well,
it?
what
Yeah.
happened is when he started talking about it, nobody ever heard of this. Element 115, nobody ever heard of it. He sounded like a whack job.
And that was in 60s or 70s?
No, it was in the
80s.
early. It was early.
Was it 80s? Oh my God.
80s,
Okay.
early 90s.
And then that element came out in the 2000s or something.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, just within like the last 2 or 3 years, some Russian scientists, they
Synthesized it.
synthesized a
So they say
small amount of
synthesized, yeah.
unstable 115. But what he's talking about is an actual stable form of the element, which is it gives off no radiation, no nothing, and that's the fuel for these gravity drives.
Oh,
Just like the machine that he explains that was the way to get into
Okay, so
area.
the gravity drive is what made it actually levitate. And then there was what they called it was a mercury propulsion system. It used actual mercury somehow.
Well, no, the way he explains it is the gravity beam is directed, and that gravity beam actually is the way to move. That is the propulsion.
yeah, I saw those little tubes that pointed down, and
The gravity drive is the propulsion for.
And that element, that's nothing to do with that Roswell stuff where they supposedly
No.
had that stuff where they could crumple it up and it would reform
All right, he goes into full detail on how he got into the building, that he had to put his hand into this little machine. The machine had, certain characteristics to it. And what the machine did is it ran a extra X-ray or a light through the person's hands.
For bone structure.
Yep, measured
I
the
heard
bone
that.
structure. And actually now, the guy who did that documentary pulled up some information on that and actually found that actual product, bring him the pictures. And I mean, this is 10, 15 years later. And he's like, wow, I haven't seen that in a long time. Now, people thought he was crazy for saying that. And the actual machine, exactly how he described it, is in use. And it's pretty much everything that's come out of his mouth has been proven right.
But has he brought any actual evidence of, these aliens, the spaceships, other than this element that?
Well, no, because you can't take it out of the facilities. So,
well, he does say that at one point he got some of the element 115 out, and I think that's his leverage.
That's his biggest thing is the element. Okay.
Yeah. And he's not just going to go bringing that on the Joe Rogan show, I don't think.
no.
Looks like cab is getting ready to take off, and somebody has a bad leak underneath their sink. And
Is that code?
I don't know. Yeah, cab is getting ready to take off for the night. So I will say, yeah, and we are at we're going for the 3-hour mark. So it's been a long episode tonight. I think we're good to wrap here and go into the after call. What do you guys think?
I think
Sounds
this was
great.
an awesome
So much fun.
awesome episode.
Absolutely. And guys, we will be back here next week, Tuesday night, 10 o'clock. Question everything. Again, remember, don't try this at home. Don't go out there and just do crazy things. Question everything around you. Make decisions, form opinions of your own. Don't just go off of what we tell you.
And yeah, don't believe a word that Lou Rock says. Just at all. Just don't believe him.
And don't eat the dog ham. So, all right, guys. I want to thank my panelists up here tonight, my co-host, the one and only Lou Rock, and our guests, Dave the producer, and Green Bay Wacky for coming up here and hanging out with us this evening.
Oh, it was totally fun.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the moderators out there dropping links, and thank you to everybody that was super chatting and all that tonight. That always goes right back into the creation of more videos or better equipment. And I always put it right back into the show. So
Hey, can we say that the show's sponsored by Reynolds Wrap now?
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Hopefully,
Reynolds Wrap. If you want to run commercials on this spot, get a hold of me. We'll
hopefully
put
this
your
show
logo on the screen behind me. I don't care.
hopefully this show will be picked up by one of Mark Cuban's companies coming up.
Oh yeah, that would be.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get my head around that. That's going to be so cool. That's just going to be awesome because I'm happy for you guys. I really am.
You're
Green
so
Bay
kind.
Wacky is like, I'm so happy for you, but what time is this? What date is it? How do I get into the chat?
I think it's exciting.
I want you to
Dude, you know who I was talking to yesterday on YouTube?
Who?
In his live stream? Freaking Matthew Nextel or something. Remember the guy with the question marks all over his coat?
Oh, the Let's Go.
Let's go. Yeah. I was talking to him in his chat. He's got 50,000 subscribers. He was
that
doing
the Mad
Wow.
Money or wait,
The guy was like, you could get government grants. You can do this with my book.
That
Let's go.
guy?
Yeah.
that guy. He's got a YouTube
I
channel.
love
And I was on his
that
live.
guy.
You know what's funny though? 50,000 subscribers. He only had 40 in the chat.
Wow.
Oh,
I get bigger numbers than that. Nothing personal,
Wow.
Matthew, but
no, it's a thing though. Wow.
Green Bay, we're sitting at 60 right now and have been for well over an hour.
but he was funny. He said he's 76. And I said to him, you're the guy that was on TV, right? With the book and all. And he goes, yeah, that was a long time ago. But I remembered him, right off. He had his coat on and everything. He looked this older version. Yeah, I subscribed.
That's
to him.
awesome.
Yeah. You never know who you're gonna find on you.
Well, Dave, tell us about the show again and when it's going to be, so that everybody out there in the chat can get over to Juliet Miranda's channel, hit that bar, ding that bell, drop a like on one of her videos, and leave her a comment so she can be back to you. But make sure that you have the bell on because she's going to have Mark Cuban on the show, and
We're gonna push that a week before you go live.
I'm
Every
sorry,
live stream, I'm
pushing it
gonna
down.
pound
You
it.
guys are awesome.
I want to
You're
push
gonna
that.
have hundreds in there.
Well,
Yeah.
it's going to be in September. We're still trying to figure out if it's going to be the first or second week of September. We're working out the details, but it's going to be a lot of fun. going to be looking forward to it. It's going to be roughly about 30 to 45 minutes of time that he's going to get. So
it's going to go by so quick. Oh.
I know. He's been very cool.
Just tell him you'll give him a pizza if he stays for over an hour. Come on, Mark. I'll give you a pizza. You got to stay.
I'll buy a Mavericks ticket.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, guys. Well, Lou, you got anything coming up in the near future?
Guys, I'm working on a very important project. It is taking me a lot of time to edit this, but I'm putting my heart and soul into it. I mean, if it does well, fine. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I have to say that Lou is working very diligently, very hard on this project, and he's not only putting his heart and soul into it, he's put a little bit of mine into it as well. So,
yeah, I mean, it's a very important video to me, and I just want to do it. I want to do it right. I hope it comes out good. I hope you guys enjoy it. I have been missing from my usual upload schedule because I've been working so much on this one video, but I am back up and running thanks to people like Cab 7. I had no light to shoot videos at nighttime. Cab 7 helped me out to get a new light, and now I'm back up and running. So I'm really just grateful, and I'll have some videos coming out soon. And
can you give us a little preview of what it's about?
Yes. There's a case that it's a cold case that's been unsolved for 25 years now.
Wow.
January 22nd was the 25th anniversary of this girl's disappearance. And I've done a lot of videos on this girl. Her name is Tammy Linz, and I'm really making a video that's it's not like any videos that I've ever made before, and I want it to come out right. I think the girl deserves it, and hope everybody likes it. That's all.
And Green Bay, you got anything going on?
Not really. Not really. Well, other than eventually I'll have a new video out once I get that one
He'll
done.
be live with the Insomniac here in about an hour. He's got to go sample the wife's cookies first, though.
Oh my goodness! I don't.
Do you know what? I don't want to hear that crap. I want Mr. Funky number 3.
I've been thinking about that actually. I have, and actually I was thinking about a new, I got my pterodactyl dance. I was thinking of an octopus dance. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I need a baby shark kind of video.
Baby shark.
Yeah. No, nothing really. Yeah, nothing really. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, guys, I will see you guys over on JoJo Walker's channel tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
Whacked Out Wednesday, where we highlight just crazy stories from the internet. And, you have to figure out which ones are real, which ones are fake. It's a lot of fun. Get over to JoJo Walker's channel, hit that bar, ding that bell, drop a like on one of her videos, and leave her a comment so she can get back to you. And we'll see you over there tomorrow night. Again, we'll be back here next Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Question and everything. So, guys, peace out.
Thanks for coming, guys and
Keep
gals.
your tinfoil hats handy and your dog ham fresh.
Yeah.